FIFA World Cup 2026 opening tonight. 48 nations compete in 3 host countries, marking the most expansive tournament in the history. House of Representatives continues budget debate as MPs question tax allocation and revenue plans. Finance Minister says we're ready to face charge if leak proved. Nepal's major cities see influx of Indian tourists. Demand, however, grows for improved amenities amid rising arrivals. US says it has hit third tanker near Oman after its strike kills 3 Indian sailors. Trump threatens to hit Iran very hard tonight. Forced displacement falls for first time in a decade. UN reports 117.8 million people still displaced worldwide. And Wimbledon announces record 20% rise in prize money amid player discontent. Singles champions to pocket £3.6 million. Good evening, I'm Smita Gising Thamang and this is NTV World Primetime News. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. The details now. The wait is finally over. The FIFA World Cup 2026 kicks off tonight with a dazzling opening ceremony at Mexico City's legendary Estadio Azteca. The spectacle begins at 6 p.m. local time, which is 4:15 a.m. Friday morning in Nepal, blending music, culture and football tradition to mark the start of the biggest tournament in the history. For the first time ever, 48 nations will compete across 3 host countries, the United States, Canada and Mexico, spanning 104 matches in a month-long festival of football. This iconic stadium, already steeped in World Cup history, becomes the first to host 3 different editions of the tournament. The opening match follows immediately after the ceremony, with host Mexico taking on South Africa in front of a packed Azteca crowd. Mexico, buoyed by home support, will look to set the tone with attacking flair, while South Africa aims to spoil the party with displaced defence and counter-attacks. Beyond football, the match symbolizes the start of a record 48-team tournament, promising drama, debutants and global spectacle. Football fans in Nepal's capital Kathmandu are flocking to jersey stores, buying the colours of their favourite teams as the FIFA World Cup 2026 fever grips the country that is still far away from featuring in the tournament. Stores are packed with enthusiasts hunting for jerseys of their favourite teams. Sarah Sapsanamarai reports.
Merchandise sellers in Nepali capital Kathmandu are having a hard time meeting demand. A new road store is catering to at least 300 football enthusiasts a day on the eve of the tournament.
एक हप्तादेखि चहलपहल बढ्नै छ अहिलेलाई तपाईको अब डेली प्राय गरेर 300 500 मोर देन 300 मान्छेहरु चाहिँ आइराखेका छन् कतिपय त फर्किराखेका छन् र सामानहरु अलिकति कसैलाई साइज मिल्दैन कसैलाई चाहिँ अब भनेको पाउँदैन.
Many are returning empty-handed or waiting for hours for stock to refill before buying.
मान्छेमा त धमाधम सामान छैन के भन्नु कुरा चाहिँ 1 घण्टा अनि सामान चाहिँ कलेक्सन गर्न सकिएन. पहिला हामीलाई थाहा भएन यस्तो हुन्छ भनेर हामीले जस सकभर हामीले ग्राहकको सन्तुष्टि होस् भनेर हामीले सबै तपाईको सस्तोदेखि महँगो सबै कलेक्सन राखेछ हामी त रिटेल पसललाई नि.
In an average, each store like this is selling football goods worth around 300,000 rupees per day since World Cup fever began for about a week now.
So I am buying for my son who is 13-year-old, and I have bought France, US and Portugal. He's very excited. We are flying to US to watch few of the matches there.
Support मैले चाहिँ पोर्चुगल गरेको छु. अब रोनाल्डो मेरो फेभरेट प्लेयर हो पहिलेदेखि अनि त्यही हो. उसको अन्तिम वर्ल्ड कप भएर त्यही सपोर्ट गर्छु.
Emotion drives the sales, whether it's Ronaldo's final World Cup for Portugal or Messi's chances with Argentina. Fans are buying jerseys tied to player legacy. Nepal is one of the furthest countries from the tournament in terms of participation, but the World Cup fanaticism has reached fever pitch like anywhere else. With Samir Thapa on camera, Sarah Sapsanama for NTV World, Kathmandu.
As the FIFA World Cup 2026 kicks off, Nepal's broadcast landscape is undergoing a notable shift from legacy media to digital. With the local company spending record amount for the rights and the broadcaster rolling out multi-platform coverage format, the odd timing viewership in Nepal is likely to be affected. To counter the same, the right holder and broadcaster are trying to engage fans through affordable digital packages. Sabika Shrestha explores the shifting dynamics.
Tell the story of the viewership viewers worldwide. The record of the most watched event in history is very likely to be broken this time. However, Nepali right holder company and broadcaster are set to encounter the odd viewing hours with matches scheduled for midnight and even later. With over 450 million spent on acquiring the rights, the local right holder company expects to generate profit by adopting both legacy and digital media plans. The company claims a viewer will have to spend only around 9 rupees for a match by enrolling in their separate plans for linear television or digital platforms.
ग्रान्ड तरिकाले प्रसारण गरौँ भने प्रसारण संस्थाले पनि तपाईको प्री म्याच पोस्ट म्याचहरुलाई त्यही हिसाबले डेभलप गरेका कारणले कस्ट अलि हाई हुन गयो र हामीले 500 ले अलि भ्याउँदैन भनेर 999 गर्यौं। यसो हेर्दा दर्शक महानुभावहरुलाई अलि बढी नै हो कि जस्तो यति भन्दा कममा गर्नु भएको गरे भए त हामीलाई सजिलो हुन्थ्यो भन्ने लाग्छ। मोबाइलमा हामीले 549 रुपैयाँ राखेका छौं। मोबाइल र ल्यापटपमा जाने हो भने हामीले 999 नै गर्यौं। त्यो मध्येको मोबाइल एप मात्रै चलाउने मोबाइल डिभाइस मात्रै चलाउने हो भने पनि हामीलाई 549 रुपैयाँमै हामी पाउँछौं। अब 999 104 गेम छ, 39 दिनको गेम छ, 48 देशको सहभागिता छ। पर म्याच हिसाब गर्दा भ्युअरशिपको हिसाबले पनि 9 रुपैयाँ वरिपरि पर्ने भएर त्यति धेरै महँगो हुँदैन भन्ने हाम्रो विश्लेषण रह्यो।
One of the key challenges, however, remains the match timing. Due to time zone differences, most games will be aired late at night or past midnight in Nepal. While this may impact general viewership patterns, broadcasters remain optimistic given the evolving trend of digital sports broadcasting as well as viewership.
In Nepal, for the first time, we are planning on international scale shoulder programming. So we've created this show called Red Bull Football 26, and you will see international analysts like Paichung Bhutia and Nepali former footballers like Biraj Mahajan and Bikesh Kuthu as a part of the team as well. The problem has always been that whenever you switch from an international broadcaster to a Nepali broadcaster, the quality of the pre-match and post-match programming, you will feel a difference. But this time, being aware about that fact, we're trying to set a new trend in the industry with about 60-65 people working back end just to produce this show.
The tournament will not only be broadcast via traditional television, but also through hybrid TV systems and OTT platforms, reflecting a broader shift toward digital and multi-platform engagement. The advertising agencies have also shown strong interest, with both the companies confirming robust collaboration with major brands. According to Dhital, approximately 270 million rupees will be contributed in taxes to the government, underlining the economic impact of the tournament beyond viewership and entertainment. Overall, the FIFA World Cup 2026 marks a significant moment for Nepal's broadcasting landscape. With enhanced digital integration, broader accessibility, and strong commercial engagement, the tournament is set to redefine how global sporting events are experienced by Nepali audiences. With camera person Samir Thapa, Sabika Shrestha, NTV World.
Discussion continued on the expenditure headings of the upcoming fiscal year's budget in today's meeting of the House of Representatives. During the discussion, lawmakers expressed the view that the budget has created class divisions based on tax categories instead of ensuring citizens' rights to education and health. They also said that although the budget includes progressive provisions, the government has failed to set clear priorities. Lawmakers from the ruling party stated that traders should be brought into confidence during the implementation of the budget. Nepal's Finance Minister Swarnim Wagle has defended recent changes to Nepal's tax systems, claiming that the government is steadily making the tax regime simpler, more transparent and business-friendly. Speaking at a meeting of the Public Accounts Committee under the House of Representatives today, Minister Wagle said reforms introduced in income tax, excise duty and customs administration represent some of the most significant structural improvements undertaken in recent years.
कुन प्रकृतिको सवारीमा कति कर लगाउने भन्ने कुरा जेठ 15 को बिहान फाइनल भएको छ। अर्थमन्त्रीले खुसु टेलिफोन गरेर कर बढ्दैछ है गाडी पास गर भने हो। भने भए त घाटा लाग्ने रहेछ त कर त घट्या छ। बहुसंख्यक गाडीहरू रसुवाको त 100% नै यता पनि सस्तो गाडीहरू एटो 1 भन्छ गाडी एउटा ब्रान्ड उसमा त कर घट्या छ। उले जेठ 15 पछि पास गराएको भए उलाई धेरै नाफा हुन्थ्यो।
Nepal's Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal has said Nepal remains committed to resolving border-related disputes with India through diplomatic channels and mutual consultations. Khanal said Nepal and India share an open border with centuries-old historical ties and are committed to addressing outstanding disputes through dialogue. He said that border delineation remains pending in areas including Susta, Limpiadura, Lipulek and Kalapani, while problems related to cross-border occupation and encroachment of the no man's land continue to exist in some locations. Time for a short break now. We shall be back with more updates. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News, and now the remaining updates. Nepal's Home Minister Sudan Gurung has said that all concerned agencies have been instructed to remain on high alert and prepared for disaster management as the monsoon season approaches. Speaking at a meeting of the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee under the House of Representatives today, Gurung said necessary directives had already been issued to ensure effective management of people affected by natural disasters. The minister said he would personally conduct field inspections to assess preparedness efforts and monitor ongoing disaster management arrangements.
Study गर्दै गर्दै धेरै जस्तो क्रस बोर्डर तपाईको पेट्रोलिङ सर्वेलेन्स अपरेशन्स यस्तो कुराहरु चाहिने देखिएको थियो जहाँ कि तपाईको चाहिँ धेरै जस्तो तपाईको भारतबाट ड्रग्सहरु इम्पोर्ट हुने नेपालबाट चाहिँ गाँजाहरु जाने विशेष गरी तपाईको त्यो हाम्रो पूर्वी क्षेत्रतिर देखियो स्टडी अनुसारमा डाटा अनुसारमा पनि हैन सो यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले के गर्नुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ तपाईको चाहिँ एउटा जोइन्ट अपरेसन जहाँ कि यसको सोर्स को कहाँ हो इन्डियाको कुन त्यो बोर्डरको एरियामा कुन ठाउँमा छ भनेर पत्ता लगाएर उतापट्टि बोर्डर पारी पनि उहाँहरूको हाम्रो एसएसबीको हाम्रो स्पेशल कन्ट्रोल्सहरू हुन्छ, स्पेशल युनिटहरू हुन्छ। त्यहाँबाट हामीले उताको कारबाही उतै गरेर यताको कारबाही यतै गरेर दुई ठाउँबाट गऱ्यौँ भने हामीले धेरै कन्ट्रोल हुन्छ जस्तो चाहिँ हामीलाई लाग्छ।
Nepal is witnessing a sharp rise in Indian tourist arrivals, with around 41,000 visitors entering by air in May alone, while officials say land route arrivals are significantly higher but remain unrecorded. Tourism hubs such as Pokhara, Kathmandu, Mustang and the Prithvi Highway corridor are currently seeing heavy Indian tourist movement, driven mainly by religious travel, summer holidays and leisure visits. In Pokhara, hotel occupancy has surged above 60%, with some properties reporting up to 90% Indian guests in recent weeks. Hoteliers say this has brought strong relief to the tourism industry during the off-season and periods of regional uncertainty. While the majority of visitors are aware of local norms, however, occasional concerns over roadside cooking, waste disposal and use of public spaces have been reported, prompting calls for better infrastructure and tourist facilities. Stakeholders say while Nepal's Atithi Devo Bhava tradition remains strong, they call for balanced reporting, better facilities and responsible tourism to ensure a safe, sustainable and quality travel experience. Police in Nepal's central Rohtak district has seized illegally prepared pumpkin seeds worth more than 9 million rupees near the Nepal-India border. According to the district police office, a joint team of Nepal police and armed police force recovered 322 sacks of pumpkin seeds weighing around 12,880 kilograms from Bodimai municipality after receiving a tip-off that the consignment was being hidden under tarpaulins for illegal export to India. Authorities say the seized seeds, valued at over 9.01 million rupees, have been sent to the customs office for further investigation and legal action. The situation turned tense during the operation after locals reportedly obstructed the seizure, leading to clashes. Police fired 6 rounds of tear gas to bring the situation under control. 6 people, including 3 civilians and 3 police personnel, sustained minor injuries in the incident. Officials say further investigation is underway. Police in Nepal's western city of Butwal have uncovered the reported theft of around 80 tolas of gold from a jewelry shop to be a staged incident. According to investigators, the owner of Tinau Sunchadi Pasal in Amarpath, Deepak BK, along with his employee Naveen BK, allegedly orchestrated the fake robbery. The plan was reportedly aimed at claiming insurance money and misusing pledged gold items belonging to customers. The incident was reported on J 17 after locals found the shop shutter open and informed authorities. Initial claims suggested gold worth around 15 million rupees had been stolen, prompting a serious police investigation by multiple units, including Lumbini Province Police. However, inconsistencies in the crime scene, including no signs of forced entry and a key bundle left inside the shop, raised suspicion. Police now confirmed that the entire incident was planned and further investigation is underway into the case. Time again for a short breather. We will see you back with international updates. Indian sailors on a commercial vessel hit by the United States off the coast of Oman are dead, New Delhi's shipping minister said. India's foreign ministry summoned a top U.S. diplomat in New Delhi after the U.S. attack on Wednesday on MT Sete Bello to lodge a strong protest. It was the second reported U.S. attack on a merchant vessel with a predominantly Indian crew this week. On June 8, Omani authorities airlifted 24 Indian sailors off the MT Marivex after a U.S. strike on the Palau-flagged tanker. Images posted on social media by the Forward Seamen's Union of India showed crew members being winched from the vessel by helicopter as thick black smoke billowed from its bridge and accommodation cabins. Iran's main military command, Khatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters announced early Thursday that the Strait of Hormuz has been closed to all vessels, including oil tankers and commercial ships, due to security threats in the waterway. The headquarters warned that any vessel attempting to transit the strait will be targeted. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC Navy also announced that the Strait of Hormuz has been closed until further notice, as the United States has repeatedly violated the ceasefire. The IRGC warned that no vessel is allowed to leave its anchorage in the Persian Gulf or the Gulf of Oman, and that approaching the strait will be regarded as collaborating with the enemy. Meanwhile, the Kremlin has urged the United States and Iran to return to negotiations after a fresh round of attacks raised fears of a wider conflict and renewed concerns over the impact on global energy markets. Responding to the latest escalation, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov warned that continued hostilities would have consequences far beyond the Middle East.
Мы обеспокоены этим. Мы призываем все стороны этого конфликта к сдержанности. Мы призываем все-таки к возвращению к переговорному процессу, потому что очередной виток эскалации напряженности чреват новыми дополнительными негативными последствиями для ситуации в регионе и международной экономики в целом.
Canada has introduced a ban on social media use for individuals under the age of 16 as part of new measures aimed at strengthening online child safety and reducing potential harms linked to excessive platform use among minors. The policy is intended to restrict access to major social networking services for younger users, with enforcement expected through age verification mechanisms. Authorities say the move is designed to protect children from risks such as online exploitation, harmful content, and privacy violations. The decision has also sparked a debate over digital rights enforcement challenges and the role of parents and tech companies in regulating youth access to online platforms. Time again for a short break. We will be back with more from international updates. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News, and now more from international. New data show global forced displacement fell for the first time in a decade. The number of forcibly displaced people dropped for the first time in a decade last year, as more opted to return home despite often unsafe and unstable conditions, the UNHCR said. At the end of 2025, 117.8 million people worldwide were forcibly displaced from their homes, marking a decline of 5.4 million compared to a year earlier, the UN Refugee Agency said. Returns in 2025 were the second highest since records began 60 years ago. 14.7 million people returned home, including nearly 4.4 million refugees, but many did so under pressure and to extremely fragile context. A homemaker in India is reportedly contributing to artificial intelligence research by recording her daily household activities to help train humanoid robots. Using a smartphone, she films routine chores, and the footage is used by international technology companies to improve how robots understand and replicate human movements in real-world settings. She is paid a small amount for each hour of recorded video. The initiative reflects a broader trend in the AI industry of using large-scale human activity data to develop more capable and realistic robotic systems. Annual lotus season is in full bloom in Vietnam's Ninh Binh, transforming the northern Vietnamese landscape into a sea of pink and white. Visitors and photographers have been flocking to the area, where wooden walkways wind through vast lotus ponds set against dramatic limestone corasts. The lotus season typically runs from late May to August, with June and July offering the most spectacular displays. For many visitors, the experience is about more than taking photos. Surrounded by blooming flowers and tranquil scenery, they describe a sense of peace and a deeper connection with nature in one of Ninh Bien's most iconic seasonal attractions. Now the sports update. Former Nepal national football team goalkeeper Vishal Shrestha has officially assumed office as Vice Chairman of the National Sports Council (NSC) following his appointment by Nepal's Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. Shrestha, who represented Nepal at the international level for many years before retiring from professional football, took charge of his new responsibilities at the country's apex sports governing body. Alongside Shrestha, 4 newly appointed board members have also assumed their roles on the NSC board. They are table tennis player Sikka Sual Shrestha, former international cricketer and coach Shakti Gauchan, chess player Mona Lisa Khumbu, and football player Pawan Shahi. According to officials, the inclusion of experienced athletes in leadership positions is expected to enhance policy implementation, improve governance practices, and contribute to the overall development of sports in Nepal. Wimbledon organisers have announced a record prize pot of £64.2 million for this year's championships, although it may not be enough to placate leading players who are demanding a bigger share of Grand Slam revenue. The prize fund is 20% more than last year, with singles champions set to pocket £3.6 million, up from £3 million. It is the biggest annual increase in the tournament's history, but comes at a time of escalating demands by players who argue that the 4 Grand Slams distribute a smaller share of total revenues than other ATP and WTA events. Players had called for a total Wimbledon prize pot of around £70 million, which would bring the ratio closer to the 22% that top ATP and WTA events redistribute to the players. And before we wrap up, here's the headlines one more time. FIFA World Cup 2026 opening tonight. 48 nations compete in 3 host countries, marking the most expensive tournament in the history. House of Representatives continues budget debate as MPs question tax allocation and revenue plans. Finance Minister says ready to face charge if leak proved. Nepal's major cities see influx of Indian tourists. Demand, however, grows for improved amenities amid rising arrivals. USA says it has hit 3rd tanker near Oman after its strike kills 3 Indian sailors. Trump threatens to hit Iran very hard tonight. Forced displacement falls for first time in a decade. UN reports 117.8 million people still displaced worldwide at the end of 2025. And Wimbledon announces record 20% rise in prize money amid player discontent. Singles champions to pocket £3.6 million. And that's it for this edition of Primetime News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World.
Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by.
Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Pokhara is undoubtedly #1 destination for tourists in Nepal. The valley, blessed with natural beauty, attracts domestic and foreign tourists alike. You must have already visited Pokhara. If you haven't or planning another trip, then these are some of the must-go places in Pokhara. The first attraction in Pokhara is the Feva Lake. Boating in Feva Lake is a ritual for every tourist visiting this paradise. The Tal Barahi temple at the center of the lake adds to the beauty of the place. A round-trip boat ride in Feva Lake to and from the temple is a feature of both the lake as well as the temple. Separate boat ride, watching the reflection of Mount Machapuchre on the lake and fishing spice up the Feva experience. The lakeside along the banks of the Feva Lake is a popular tourist hub. Many tourists in Pokhara choose Devi's Fall as their second destination in Pokhara. The water from Feva Lake exits towards Seti River through the Gupteshwar cave from this Devi's Fall. The mighty water stream rushing deep down into the gorge, covered by water vapor, is a magical sight. Pokhara is known as the city of lakes and caves. Many of the lakes and caves have religious importance. This is Gupteshwar Cave at Chorepatan area. Inside the cave, the idol of Lord Shiva is a well-known pilgrimage. Further inside the cave, one can see the Devi's Hall. Mahendra Cave is another famous place in Pokhara, and nearby is another well-known Chamere Cave. Both the caves can be visited together. Two other well-known tourist destinations in Pokhara are Begnas and Rupa lakes. Fresh fish of Begnas Lake is a sought-after delicacy. Rupa Lake is just round the corner beyond a small hill towards the eastern edge of Begnas Lake. Away from the hustle and bustle of the town, Begnas and Rupa Lakes cannot be taken out of a tourist's itinerary. This is the famous White Monastery on top of the hill above Feva Lake. This is also a popular destination for domestic as well as foreign tourists. The top-angle bird's-eye view of Pokhara city from the monastery is a sight to behold. The placid Feva Lake, the tall mountain range, and the birds like paragliding pilots on the background of Sarankot Hill are mesmerizing. The Bindabasini temple in Pokhara is a famous shrine in Nepal. The best route to visit the temple is on the way to Sarankot. Devotees throng the Bindabasini temple, which is atop a small hill with panoramic view of Pokhara city. The Bindabasini temple is famous among the Hindus across the country. Sarankot is a hill station on top of a hill on the northwestern side of Pokhara. A must-go place to see the majestic Mount Machapuchre and Mount Dhaulagiri in the Annapurna range in front of the eyes, and also the Pokhara and Leknath cities on the other side. Sarankot is synonymous to paragliding in Nepal. Taking off from the Sarankot hill, one can enjoy the panoramic mountain range in addition to the bird's eye view of Pokhara city. Ultralight and zip flyer offer a thrill to adventure seekers in Pokhara and are becoming major interests for tourists. Other places including Swarak in Sangja have the potential to be world's best place for paragliding. First time in Nepal, Paragliding Accuracy World Cup was held at this place, situated at Mahapur of Virkot municipality of the district. The place drew global attention after the event. Pokhara, famous tourism destination of the country. Majority of locals engaged in tourism industry. The city of lakes and caves, hub of aviation sports. Some major destinations: Lakeside, Feva Lake and Tal Barahi Temple, Begnas and Rupa Lakes, Mahendra Gufa.
Since childhood, I always like to go in a competition. Even I was in a high school, I done many competition in athletics or other things, and then I end up with MasterChef. I was winner of rematch in 2020 MasterChef UK Professionals. My all-time favorite, and I think all Nepali favorite, is goat curry and rice, mashu bhat. I'm from Karjanaha village, district Siraha. When I was very small kid, I started working for a family, and same time I was studying as well. When I was 5 years old, my father passed away. When I was very young age, for us, food was survival food. Till SLC, I was in village, and then I went to India for work purpose, and then I started working in a 5-star hotel as a kitchen porter. Then I find my passion about the cooking, because I was seeing the chef, very nice, tidy, white jacket with a white hat, and then I decided I want to disguise, and I became a chef in a few months, and then working almost 7 years, and then I continue my study as well, and after 7 years I become an executive chef in a 5-star hotel. In a MasterChef, I was cooking only Nepali food and introducing Nepali food, Nepali spices and Nepali technique, because Nepali food was never discovered to the world, and Nepal have a very good potential. The people never expected gundruk to be like this, and even wachipa, tite, burning feathers, chicken feathers, and marinating in chicken and cooking with rice. Also, padam chal, that's a Himalayan rhubarb. This kind of things I cook in the MasterChef. I have also written a book called Ayla, A-Y-L-A, Ayla book. That's a recipe cookbook. During the MasterChef, I started Nepali cuisine. Before, I was working in a Michelin star, French Michelin star, Indian Michelin star restaurant. That was not my Nepali cuisine, was not my cuisine. But now I can say proudly, Nepali cuisine is my cuisine. Still, I am promoting Nepali food, ethnic cuisine, cultural cuisine. Like if you see, we are in a Mithila Thali fish house. Mithila cuisine is very close to my heart. That reflects Tarai region food to the world, and this food was never promoted as well. And opening a Mithila restaurant and promoting Mithila cuisine. Mithila cuisine is very healthy. Mithila food have fermentation, freshness, seasonal vegetables, seasonal cookings. So lots of things came into Mithila cuisine. So I think world should know about this cuisine. I really want to serve Nepal via food. This is the third year I'm doing Nepali cuisine restaurant in Nepal, and almost 200 people working for me. If you want to be a chef, if you are confused to decide, I think this is the right time to do it. And if you are studying in abroad, I think Nepal have a very good potential for the business in a hospitality industry, because Nepal is a tourism-based country, and tourism always need a good hospitality, good restaurant, good food, and good hotel. Now I'm dreaming with the open eyes. I want a Michelin star chef with Nepali food. Then any part of the world, I will be opening Michelin star Nepali restaurant.
I came from Biratnagar, and am at a global stage on data and AI and finance. So I was born and brought up in a city called Biratnagar in the eastern part of Nepal. I was brought up in a typical middle-class Nepali family. I went to school in a normal Nepali school. I studied there until SLC in Biratnagar. As for my higher education, I did my undergrad in Australia. I went over to study quant finance at New York University. I did masters in financial engineering. When I remember my childhood, I used to like sports. Cricket was my thing. And I always liked numbers, patterns, logic. When I found quant finance, it kind of was a formalization of most of my interests that I had as a kid. I was recognized as a change maker. All I did was used mathematics and advanced computational sciences to create mathematical models to predict investments and risk, etc. There's nothing like that being done widely in the industry. As you see, it's a very recent phenomenon. That's how I kind of got into this spot of being recognized as the top 100 influential figures in AI. I remember this song, Hatne Hoina Dati Ladne, right? And that kind of is the embodiment of us. Nepal taught me to lead during scarcity. Nepal taught me to asset allocate when resources are limited, to innovate, right? For me, getting this recognition or being, global stage, it just gives me a bigger microphone. And what I probably would plan to do, or what I am always kind of striving to do, is use that bigger microphone to convey the message on what could be the possibility for tomorrow. I just am a medium for a lot of people here who have already been doing this thing for a long time. Nepal does not lack intelligence. Our bottleneck is not we don't know how to do things. Our bottleneck is infrastructure and policy framework. These are two things. And if we solve this, I think market is going to take its turn and you will see proliferation. Don't stop dreaming. That would be my first thing. Dream big. If you are persistent on what you want, and if you have clarity of thought and logic, you will achieve it.
I think like any other young people, usually in Nepal, the jobs were the primary intention of many youth coming out of education system. So even my family and my friends, they thought that I'm going to take a job. Starting something out in Nepal where the entrepreneurial ecosystem is pretty young, and it's very difficult in terms of many ways, like finding the funding, finding the suppliers, navigating the government offices. It's pretty difficult. And I think one of the most difficult things was to try to do something that no one has ever done before. So running an education organization that does research and also does manufacturing. So there was a lot of learning curve and a lot of failures in the path. My name is Pavitra Bahadur Gautam. By education, I'm an electronics and communication engineer. I worked in robotics for a couple of years. I always had this curiosity of building things, trying things out. I always had this experimental mindset, and that took me closer to starting Karkhana along with my co-founders. So Karkhana acts as multiple entities and ideas at the same time. So we are a research organization, work with national and international universities to do research on pedagogy, lesson plan design. We actually also work as an innovation space where we design these materials that can actually be taken inside the classroom to make science slightly more fun, slightly more experiential. But we also act as a manufacturing space where we manufacture these materials and make sure these materials reach into the classroom. But they're not only reaching the classroom as just materials, but we also train the teachers, support them to convert their regular classroom into more of a like a classroom of a discovery. And we actually align all of these activities in the curriculum side. So it helps students study their science from the national curriculum side, but it teaches them in a far more experiential format. We started Karkhana as a maker space, as an innovation center, but slowly we realized that it's not the space that's required for innovation, but it's the mindset that's required for innovation. And we actually wanted to work on building the culture of experimentation in Nepal. Currently, we're working with 250 schools all across Nepal in more than 35 districts altogether, currently impacting around 1,500 classrooms where more than 42,000 children learn science in a more hands-on, experiential way, where they're not only learning science as a subject, but they're learning science as a mindset. So we usually find chemistry to be one of the most difficult subjects, right? So for example, when we're studying in school, so we have learned about atoms and how atoms are formed. We know that neutron, proton are in the center, the electrons are in the circle, like they are in orbits. So we actually give students this kind of model where they actually form atomic models. And they can actually form hydrogen, helium, lithium, and iron. So they can form different atoms, but not only that, they can also understand how 3D structures of these atoms are like maintained. So they can actually build these things out in the classroom, and they can actually compare these models with each other, and it's a lot of fun. Being inside a country like Nepal and being affected with things like earthquake, instability in the government, unstable education policies and policy at large, being affected with issues like COVID, blockade. So I think navigating all these things in a country that is developing its entrepreneurial ecosystem and trying to sustain the business in this kind of environment, I think you're largely firefighting every day. I hope to take this idea beyond Nepal as well over the course of the years. I think it's very viable in places in South Asia because we share a very similar socio-economic conditions where the science is still taught as a history lesson, as a subject that is needed to be learned to get done with the exams. So I think I want to challenge that idea that science is just a subject, but it's more of a mindset, it's a lifestyle, and when you adopt that kind of scientific thinking in your life, I think the life gets much experimental. Pretty excited about this idea that we might be able to solve problems not in the classrooms of Nepal, but also beyond Nepal, exploring places like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, where we think that we can make an impact, and in places like Darjeeling, Sikkim, where we might go out and use Nepali language to reach and work as well. Education is a very old process. Being progressive also does not mean being anti-traditional. So trying to blend what has worked in the past, but also trying to integrate what is there in the future. So we're trying to make sure that the learning is fun, impactful, and relevant as well.
wings make a sign of love in the air. But all the monkeys don't give a monkey's about this whole affair. But all the monkeys don't give a monkey's about this whole affair. When it's a sunny day and the rain is pouring down, when it's a sunny day and the rain is pouring down, the fox's fiance puts on her wedding gown. The fox's fiance puts on her wedding gown. When it's a sunny day and the rain is pouring down, when it's a sunny day and the rain is pouring down, it's time for the fox to tie all his locks. It's time for the fox to tie all his locks and get hitched with Miss Fox, and get hitched with Miss Fox.
Nepal is lucky. It's got Dharmendra and Amitabh Bachchan. Just in one. You're two in one. Two superstars in one superstar.
But nonetheless, thank you. Thank you so much. But then tell us more about Sholay.
Once again, Nepali cinema making history on the 9th edition of NIF, Nepal International Film Festival, here on NTV Board with the collaboration NTV World. We just don't have two personalities on a talk show. We have two legends. One is Mr. Rajesh Hamal, the superstar of Nepali cinema film industry, and the other one, who is the blockbuster director, none other than Mr. Rajesh Hamal and Mr. Ramesh Sippi. We are having them here on this Creative Forum talk, only on NTV World.
Mr. Ramesh Sippi ji, good afternoon.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, and welcome. Welcome to Kathmandu.
Thank you.
Is this your first time?
No, this is my third trip.
A third trip. Yeah, it's an absolutely pleasure. Welcome to Nepal once again, you know. Unfortunately, we're meeting at a very tumultuous time. You know, the world is going through. You know, they're hell bent on destruction and domination. You know, I think the onus lies on the creative people. You know, to spread their good words about collaboration, humanity, human emotions, human value, just to offset the balance.
Absolutely agreed.
Right, and I think we should speak up and then spread our narration through our arts, through our...
Yeah, because you have a voice, you have people listening.
Right.
And you have that command. So whatever you say, it will carry some weight.
Whatever you say will also carry a lot of weight. I haven't met you before, but I, of course, know of you. You have a very illustrious career, illustrious film life that you have spent, and not only you, your father as well. Could you tell us a little bit about you? I mean, most of us know of you pretty well, but nevertheless, can you tell us, like, where you were born, how did it start, and how did your family got into films?
I was born in 1944 in Karachi. And
so before the partition?
Yes. And about 1947, we moved here immediately after the partition. I mean, I was only 3 years old, so my memory is not very sharp on that. But yes, we started out here. My father went into the construction business, buildings.
In Mumbai?
In Mumbai. And it was a very strange time because when he advertised a building and a flat, at that time, you were either a landlord or a tenant. So there was no purchase as such. Purchase in a small way. A big bungalow or a big thing belongs to one person? Yes. Otherwise. Because the people would come there and they would say, this wall, this side is mine, and that side, somebody else. Okay. So, it was a very strange way, but it started. He started selling. Then 1951, he made a film called Saza. My father.
Your father did. His good name was G.P. Shippy.
That's right.
Right. He's a very prominent filmmaker as well. Yeah.
Devanand, Nimmi, and Shyama. So with these three, he made a film. Because of his construction thing, he kept meeting people from the film line who wanted to buy. Raj Kapoor would come.
How did he decide to get into making films from construction? Because those are completely, poles apart.
Because he was selling.
He was making money.
People were making, people were coming there to take so then that's how he got.
Oh, he started off as an investor.
Yes, as investors they came in, and that's how he got into it. Well, after that, I was lucky that he was already in, and I worked for about 8 years from 61 to 69. I was just working on the sets in every department possible. And then in 69, I launched my own film, Andaz.
You didn't do anything else in life before that?
No. I went to London in 61 to do something, to maybe commerce, the college there, but I couldn't get into it. My heart and mind was there, so I rang up my father and I said, can I come back? He did not take even 1 second. He said, sure, if you're not happy, come back. That was...
And the first film that you made, was it because you had the passion for filmmaking, or it was like a family business kind of thing?
Not at all. It was absolutely my passion. Because everybody said, why are you making a film like this? A widow and a widower? You shouldn't make this kind of film here. It may be a nice film, but people won't like it. So...
Andaz, I remember, was very well received, especially that song on a motorcycle.
That's right. Zindagi Ek Safar.
Yeah, on that motorcycle. I mean, I couldn't sing to save my life.
Yeah, two iconic ones, because that was the theme of the film. Hai na bolo bolo, papa ko mummy se, mummy ko papa se pyar hai. They were both without a partner, and that's how they come together.
So how did that come about? I mean, it was, the storyline was a little bit anomaly for its time. And did you come up with this idea yourself? Are you also the writer of your own films, or?
Well, you see films, you're inspired, but there's no direct connection, but just felt that we've seen plenty of films, the normal, why not try something which is a little different? And that was the reason I said, yes, let's do that. Luckily, it worked. But I'll tell you, in the smaller towns, it was still not accepted.
Because of the storyline.
That storyline. And that told me, listen a bit. So you've got to listen to what people say also. But you've got to take a step forward.
But yeah, so those days, the filmmaker had to be extremely conscious about the social values and things like that, and what they would accept, what they would not accept.
True.
Including how you dress especially the leading actresses and all that.
Yes.
So that was your first film, Andaz?
That's
and
right.
And that was made in
69. It was released in 1971.
Okay. And then the ball started rolling after that?
Went on to make Sita Aur Geeta. Again,
that was a kind of a maverick work as well. No?
Yes.
Sita Aur Geeta, double role.
Yes.
Were you fascinated with Hema Malini from day one, or?
Well, she was very...
Or did you have a good rapport with her?
Yes,
or?
yes, she was very, very lovely. Very, she was when we were dubbing for Andaz post-production, and I said, "Would you like to play this double role on the mic?" I was telling her. She was inside,
on the set of Andaz.
She was dubbing for the end of the film.
So you're offering her another project?
Yes, on the mic. She said, "What? You think I can do it?" I said, "Yes, if you put your heart into it, we can do it." And that's how Sita Aur Geeta came about. Yes, I was very fortunate to have Salim Javed with me. Absolutely brilliant writers. And we moved on. And again, Sholay was a two-line idea. It's all, at that time it was an army officer and two cadets, and they were mischievous guys, and so he calls them later in life to help for him for his personal revenge. We just converted into police, that's all.
And you did all this at a relatively young age, didn't you? Like you were like in your mid-20s, or?
I was 25 and I started Andaz. Then in Sita Aur Geeta, I was 27, 28. Then 29, I started Sholay.
Sholay you started at 29?
29 and finished in 31. The film was released.
Now that you've mentioned Sholay, you and Sholay are so synonymous, like everybody, when they think about Sholay, they think about you. When they think about you, they think about Sholay. How did that, for its time, it was larger than life. Those days, mostly cinema used to be made in CinemaScope and 35mm, and you went into 70mm. And the storyline was slightly, different as well from your normal Hindi film storyline. And what I can tell by looking at Sholay is maybe there's an element of a Western movie influence in there.
You're absolutely right.
But you gave such an Indian flavor to it that the Indian audience totally lapped it up.
I was always fascinated by the way the Western films were made, and those
you used to watch a lot of Clint Eastwood films?
Yes, first the Clint Eastwood films, then the films like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And all these Westerns gave a wonderful kind of feel at that time. And so it was not easy to adapt to Indian thing, the Western. But because we had our dacoits and they operated in the Chambal Valley.
They could be the baddies, yeah.
And I guess circumstances took them to that point.
But the way you presented the film and the storyline was so amazing and so different from the kind of films that were being made in that era. The most prominent thing that I would say of Sholay was that you brought every character to life. When people think of Sholay, they definitely think of you as well, but they think of not just the protagonists, they think of all the characters, from Kalia to Mostly to even the horse, the Basanti. They remember everything. So you brought so much of life to each and every character, whether they were doing the leading role or the side role, but everybody had a prominence present in that film. How did you manage that?
From the idea we began with, it turned out to be a very good script. And with that script, while scripting, had a lot of these actors in mind. And very fortunately, all of them agreed to come in. It's very difficult for such a big, so many different actors to come in, big actors. Otherwise, they'll worry what will happen.
Was Amitabh Bachchan ji relatively new during that time, or was he?
He had just started to come up. His film, Zanjeer, was released after he signed with us for Sholay.
So you got him cheap.
I made up for it in the next film. He said, okay, you got me cheap there, now what are you going to give me here? Okay, so much. Nepal is lucky. It's got Dharmendra and Amitabh Bachchan both in one. You're two in one. Two superstars in one superstar.
But nevertheless, thank you. Thank you so much. But then tell us more about Sholay. How did you do the characterization? How did you come up with the story line?
As I said, I was very lucky to have Salim Javed, who came to me towards the end of the making of Andaz. Halfway through, they joined me, and then Sita or Gita did it. They wrote Sita or Gita. And then, as far as Sholay was concerned, we worked on the script. They had an idea, one-line idea.
Oh, they had it themselves?
Yes, okay. And it was with somebody else who didn't want to make it. Manmohan Desai, I think. He said, this is not my kind of film. So he passed it, passed by, gave a pass to it. So you could take it, and they narrated these two lines. An army officer with two cadets, and he calls them for his. So I think I was lucky that I had these two wonderful writers with me, and we were able to bring together a script which had all these elements in it, and all of us are always inspired by good cinema.
When they were writing, did you tell them that you wanted a Western kind of style?
Yes, absolutely.
You told them that?
Yes.
Did you give them any references? Or?
Yes, all these that I told you about, Butch Cassidy, like these two are like the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, and one of them dies at the end, if you remember Butch Cassidy also.
That was Paul Newman and Robert.
That's right, that's right. So that's how it developed, and it developed well, and all the pieces started falling together, the actors coming in. And then, as I said, I was very keen that I go to a different location. My art director took me down south, and near Bangalore, about 50 kilometers away from Bangalore, was this, all these rocks. The moment I saw them, I said, this is it. The den would be here, and the village would be just close by somewhere, and this is where it could all take place. And then we built a village there.
So how long did the homework take place?
The idea and the thought coming, and we got everyone together, and by the coincidentally, the film started on the 2nd of October, 73, October 2nd.
And then you had such prominent actors in that film. How difficult was it to coordinate them? I mean, how does it work in Indian cinema when you have so many prominent actors and actresses in your set? How does the coordination work? Is it a difficult task?
I think because they were well-defined roles, so there was no real fear that then everyone knew, because if you remember the climax of Sholay, one thing leads to the other, and each actor gets to play his part in such a way that if Dharamji, when he moves away for a short while and Amitabh takes the bullets. So he dies and then he vows vengeance and he drives and he does the climax of killing all of them right down to when Sanjeev Kumar comes and says, no, this is mine. Gabbar is mine. You leave Gabbar to me, because that was why I called you for this. So it all fell in such a way that everyone had his piece and everyone was satisfied with what he was doing.
It all felt justified. I mean, no doubt as a maker, you were a maverick when you were making Sholay, but over the years, how does it feel? I mean, if I may ask you this, that people usually remember the performance and the performers more than the maker and the director. Do you see a quiet injustice in there? Like, when you talk about Sholay, they remember Gabbar Singh, maybe Viru, and what's the other guy's name? Jay and Viru and Hema Malini and this.
Surma Bhopali and...
And over the line, somehow the maker gets sort of like, it's shattered. Do you see a kind of a quiet injustice in there as a maker?
Well, yes and no, because yes, the credit, but it's very natural as far as an audience is concerned to identify with the actor, because that's who the story is being told through. So they become real life and they become the real characters. So for them, that is the first thing that hits them. The people behind the scene, yes, okay, but there have been chaos of Mughal-e-Azam and one film, and he's remembered as a, and of course Mehboob Khan with his Mother India, and so there are a few.
You have left, no doubt, an indelible mark in the cinema. You will always be remembered. But I was just taking this out because most of the time when you have big stars and the movie is successful, they remember it as the star's film rather than the maker's film. True. Whereas initially the project is the maker's baby. Actually, that's where it starts.
I want to make a wonderful film, and if you stand out as an actor, but it's the same thing. We want it to work. We want the people to like it. So I think.
But Sholay, I believe, was not, initially it was sort of like received very lukewarm, like it didn't have a great response.
Again, unfortunately, I have to defer. There was no such thing.
Oh, there wasn't?
No. Headlined disaster. Disaster. Every week. Disaster 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 weeks they hammered that this kind of a film, no way. And because they'd already given it once, taking it back was not easy. But finally in the 6th week, they admitted that yes, it's a big hit. And there is no such thing that, because in the 2nd and 3rd week, people were repeating the dialogues. So in the theater, we knew this is a repeat audience. A repeat audience doesn't come if they haven't liked it the first time. They're not going to come a second time. So that's.
But do you remember around that time, the same time, there was another film that was released with very little budget but did extremely well. I think it was Jai Santosima, or.
Yes, on the very same day.
Yeah. So, what was your reaction to that film? I mean, here you are with a multi-star, with a great budget, larger than life presentation film, and there's another film which is low budget and just comes out and.
As a matter of fact.
And comes out with a bang.
When the trade papers spoke like this about Sholay, they also mentioned that. Look at this film, Jai Santoshima. At this budget, it's a blockbuster. and Sholay was demoted. But then, of course, they...
Yeah, but Sholay, of course, lasted much longer, and it's become a history, and it becomes a milestone of Hindi cinema. Rameshji, can you, you've experienced so many periods and so many phases in Indian cinema. You've come a long way. How do you see cinema of today, especially the Hindi cinema scenario of today? How do you look at them?
I think the best way to look at it is today's audiences and their educational levels and their exposure to the world is quite different. So we are seeing a change, but at the same time, we have to remember that we are competing with ourselves on television, on OTT, on all these are a part of the audiovisual entertainment, and yet a lot of people might say today, I would rather sit at home and watch it on where it comes on OTT.
So what do you think about the modern technology of filmmaking? I mean, do you take it as a progressive change, or?
Yes, any technology improvements that help and aid a filmmaker should be welcomed. Now, do they take away from you as a maker? I think they're meant to enhance your work. I think anything you think of and you want to do special effects, it's only going to help what your vision is. If it is taken in that light, and you do not make the mistake of letting it take over the storytelling or the thrust of the film and the emotions of the film, you don't allow these to be taking over that, then you're okay. You've got to create that balance.
Director used to be like almost 95% in charge of the project. How you're going to film it, how he's going to frame it, how he's going to present it. But now the directors have to work in coordination with so many different technical departments and engineers and special effect people that the share of the director is just limited to maybe just an imagination or the concept of how he wants to do it, and the other people put it together.
But I think, as I said, sensibility prevails, that you try to create that balance between technology and the real thing. And the actors today, if they find there is a good maker, I'm sure you as an actor would be happy to have a good director with you. He can only help and guide a little more. You're going to ultimately take, as you yourself said, he gets the maximum appreciation goes to the actor. So it's as a maker, you just have to just make that compromise in your mind that it is a medium. You can do a lot with it, with all these new technology things. Take it in the positive way and use it to help you. Now, if you have a crowd of horses coming in, and you have 4 horses you use who are good, and you add to those horses, it'll like a herd of
104 horses.
That's it. So it's the advantage is there if you use it correctly, and if you unnecessarily use technology, you're going to.
If you had the advantage of using this technology while making Sholay, would Sholay would have been any different?
A damn good question, and I don't have an answer.
No, but it's done. It's printed. It's a history, and it's a hallmark. Like, you represent Hindi cinema, and most of the Hindi cinemas are like star-driven, and they're the main attractions, and the unique selling point of a film actually becomes the stars and all that. How important is it, in your view, that does an actor transform himself or herself completely into a character, or does the actor bring his own essence to every role? Does the part of the actor has to be alive in every role, especially the star-driven, or they can succumb themselves totally into a character?
I think mostly they can. I think a very, very particular character which calls for a change of image, the actor is excited about playing something entirely different, and the director feels that this is an actor who can, because he's such a good actor, he'll be able to deliver in this kind of a role. Then they work together to change that image which was existent before that. But most of the time, it's the image.
I mean, you sort of played in abundance in terms of, relatively, in terms of whether budget or your writers or your technicians. When do you think the creativity actually flourishes? Is it in abundance or in limitation?
When Dharmendraji goes up on that tank, now, it's not exactly word by word what was written for him. Then there was improvisation as well. And it had to be because he's in that mood. So that was a combination of the character as well as the actor and the lines and his performance. And I mean, it just all came together so beautifully that today it's a scene which is remembered, and that goes for Mr. Bachchan as well.
Does your creativity gets limited if you're working within a limited budget, within limited resources? Does that hamper your creativity as a filmmaker, as opposed to when you have?
Unfortunately, my experience is that I had a budget for Sholay, 1 crore. Because my previous film, Sita Aur Geeta, cost 50 lakhs. So we said, let's be a bit large-hearted, keep 1 crore for this.
But for 73, that was a lot of money. For 1973, that was a lot of money.
Yes, but it went on to cost 3 crores. Because it went on and on. Because I've said this before, but shooting the massacre scene of Sanjeev Kumar's family, the Thakur's family, I started to shoot, and after 2 days, the clouds came and the sun went away. So we sat for a day. In those days, the film was such that you could not do anything about it. You had to get some sunlight. You couldn't match it like you do in post-production, as you say. Correct? So otherwise you could have fiddled with it in post-production. But no. Then on the 4th day, clouds again. So I asked the cameraman, because the mind started to work. And the texture of the scene changed. I said, if I do it like this, I'll be able to build that, the little wind, and it changed only in terms of what the, not that the dialogues were changed or anything like that. But the sense of it, the point is it cost me 21 days of shooting because of the weather. I had to wait for the cloudy weather. Then we started to make some thin covers on top to filter, if the sun is there, how to filter it on the sets. Things like that were improvised, and we were able to shoot it. And ultimately, there was no other way but to spend more time and money trying to get what you want.
Right, but did you feel that you were taking a risk in terms of money? Like,
I tried not to think about it.
Right.
And my father never said a word to me, what are you doing? So that's where I was very lucky. He just let me do what I was doing. He had the confidence that I was doing the right thing.
Suppose you've spent so much of money, so much of time, so much of energy into this dream project of yours, Sholay. And if it had failed miserably in the box office,
I wouldn't be here then.
So there's no such thing as like taking things with a pinch of salt and getting up and moving up again. Can that happen to a filmmaker? When a dream project fails,
Yes, it can.
and he still retains the energy to continue
Yes.
to stand up and move?
It can happen, but it will affect his confidence also.
Do you know anyone that you know like that in Hindi cinema?
No, I'm sure there must be people who have felt this. People start to abandon you financially, or in different ways. You find even actors then dropping out from projects. These things do happen. It's not.
How much of a burden is it when you lose a lot of money in a film? How much for the maker?
Well, if it's borrowed money, it's carrying interest all the time. There is a certain foolishness when you allow budgets to go that.
How do you look at the progression of cinema making over the years? Because you see, what has happened is with so many different sources of viewing cinema, people have cinema in their own hands. You know, with a click of a button, they can go anywhere. And what it used to be a cinema literacy in those days are available to anyone with a nice smartphone. You know, a 10-year-old would have a cinema literacy
Exactly.
of that of, let's say, 70s professional filmmaker, you know, when they talk about long shot, mid shot, focus in, focus out, you know, this and that. All these cinema jargons are used by lay persons today. So is it a more challenging to be a filmmaker in this time and age than it used to be before?
I think that will always be there. The challenges were there then. As you said,
Every second person in one way or the other is a filmmaker these days, you know. Everybody is creating one thing or the other. Whereas in those days, filmmaking was exclusively the department of the professionals.
Correct.
And they only knew how to do it, you know. If they were talking about editing, the rest of the audience didn't know. If they were talking about, I don't know, long shot, mid shot, focus out, focus. And these are the jargons that the normal people are using it these days. You know, what's dubbing, what's this. So do you think it's more of a challenge, much more challenging to be a film director in this age and
Today,
era?
yes, I think it is. But as I said, if you take technology along with you and let it help you in achieving what you want to achieve, you will be able to achieve it in lesser money today because of the special effect. Your knowledge of that technology will allow you to, okay, this I can do. So it can be helpful.
Like I remember, even in the 90s, you know, if you have to picturize, say, the interior of a moving car, that itself was an extreme challenge.
It was.
You know, and now you have so many different types of cameras available. You can do it in a flick of a
Yes,
finger.
I remember, because after that, when I made Shan, that started to happen. I used to sit on the bonnet of the car, facing the actor behind the wheel, and the co-artist with the actor in front, and you're going through, and the crowds, you have to avoid the crowds because you'll see them. So all these factors were there, and it was very difficult to shoot within the city. And all my work on Shan was in the city, on the docks, in the streets, or those car chases and everything. What would normally have taken 3-4 days to shoot took, again, 20 days, 25 days to get it right.
And the audience were pretty naive about the
difficulties, they don't see the difficulties, they see the end product.
That's why the word, you know, the cinematic liberty used to be very famous those days, because
Absolutely
you know
right.
you can fool your audience. You know?
Absolutely correct. You got it.
Which is probably not possible these days, yeah. Yeah, the difference today is that, you know, like people want to watch larger than life and extraordinary things on the screen, but at the same time, they demand that it should be believable, you know. Even if it is done extraordinarily, you know, larger than life way, the audience still wants to know that it has to be presented in such a way that it's believable. That's
correct.
You know, they don't see any mistakes in there, so it has to be flawless today. And the technology has probably helped that.
That has, yes, it definitely has. But each time, even then, when the back projection came in first, for the first time, that was a technological advance. It did help a lot.
Especially in a moving object, yeah.
Yes. But there you could see technically that it was, if you're very sharp, you could tell it's done on a back projection screen, because you didn't have enough maneuverability. Just the back window, the back glass, the back of the car, the rear glass would allow you to, so your blue screen was behind it. And that's how.
But the general audience had no idea how it has been done. You know? And that's probably what.
Now they all know, as you say.
Now they all know. They know everything about filmmaking. So this is what I feel nowadays. You know, if you're a filmmaker these days, you have to be a notch higher than the average person, because everyone knows about filmmaking. Everybody knows how to make a moving picture. Everybody knows about editing. Everybody knows about how to put, you know, good visuals together. So in order to be a good filmmaker, one has to be few notches higher than the normal people.
Yes, you've got it right. You've hit it on the spot. It is so easy, and they know all about it. So when they see, oh, this must have been done like this, and this must have been done like that. And yet, when the audience comes into a theatre to watch the film, they are ready to watch. It's not, they haven't come there to criticize it. They really want to appreciate it, otherwise they wouldn't spend that 500,000, 1,500 bucks for a ticket. In the days of Sholay, it was 2 rupees, 3 rupees, and 4 rupees.
Don't you think the movie viewing culture has changed drastically? Like those days when you were making Sholay, film used to be actually the cheapest form of entertainment.
Absolutely.
And now it's not so cheap form of entertainment at all. So how do you see that? I mean, once upon a time, it was, cinema was, you know, accessible to every lay person. A person who labors on the street throughout the day is looking forward to go and watch a film in an air-conditioned movie hall and just have a good time. Whereas today, maybe some of the movie theaters are off-limit to people of certain income groups.
That's true.
So how do you see this transformation?
Yes, but theaters are also doing things now to, you come on a particular day, the ticket is much lower. They have these incentives, or you go there, you'll get a Coke or a thing extra. There are ways of getting around that. So it makes it a little more easier for certain audiences who would not be able to afford it to come in and get a pleasure of the big screen.
Yeah, this is what I have distinctly noticed. It's not just in India, even here in Nepal. Earlier when we used to go to the movie hall, the representation was mostly of the average person of that society or that country. But now you go to one of these fancy movie halls in the city, and then you see it's a completely different class of people representing as an audience. That is something distinctly I have noticed over the period.
What we do have is most of the screens are like that now. There are a few single cinemas still in existence, and that audience still goes there, and the rates are also lower there. But yes, it's a big problem.
And as far as the content of the Hindi cinema goes nowadays, or the storyline of Hindi cinema, do you think that has gone through changes over the period? Like the kind of story you would want to make into a film in the 70s as opposed to now?
I don't think that at its core it's different. You see Dhurandhar today?
Just the presentation has changed a lot.
He's made a wonderful film, but he's used what we are talking about. He's used technology as well as the real thing, and he's made a wonderful combination. but it is all action and blood and gore, and it's been presented in a way that is palatable. And this is a bigger hit than just a family story or a. So this is how.
So that is immutable truth. That's an unchanging truth over the years. The content of the story.
Yes.
The technology might help it to bring it into a different scale and different presentation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I guess cinema is all about human emotions and human expressions, and human emotions and expressions probably don't change.
And they're
people
forever.
feel the same way.
Yeah, you don't. If you love someone, you love someone. It's not like
Angry at someone, you're angry at someone.
And you're angry, absolutely.
Whether you're a man at 70s or the man of today's age.
Something will take you to that intolerable level. It's bound to.
This is what I always felt, everything is changeable. Like over the years, place might change, cities might change, society might change, but the emotion remains intact, the way our great-grandfather felt when they were in love is the same kind of emotions that we feel today. The way they reacted when they were angry, we react in a more or less same way, So the human emotion is, I think, the only thing which is permanent in this ever-changing world,
Yes, I'm sure most of the people will agree. I have no problem with those who don't. I carry my convictions with myself, and as you would always do for yourself, and each one does for themselves. I think it's fair.
From all this larger-than-life project, how did you get into television all of a sudden? Especially in those days. I mean, Bunyad was in Doordarshan, right?
Yes.
Before the cable television and multi-channel.
Yes.
So how did that come about? I mean, how was that transformation made?
Actually, some of the DD officials at that time suggested to my father, because he had a good rapport with the government, and they said, we've launched this channel, but we need some good material on it. Can you think of something you can... And the writer who had written an earlier...
story revolved around partition, right?
Yes.
India,
What I'm saying is,
partition.
the writer of Bunyad was a writer who had done an earlier film, earlier series. As I got to know that writer, I felt a kind of a pulse that it's going to, this guy knows what he's talking about. So when it was set in partition and he was able to come up with a script, which I liked. And I said, okay, let's go. It was a whole different kind of movie making. It was not movies, it was every episode, if you could leave it on a little...
And you must have shot in video cameras or...
the first 26 episodes I shot on film, 16mm film. And then switched to the
videos. And that was, how many series was it? Like how long?
105 episodes.
105. So that's what, like over a year? Over
a year.
Over a year.
Twice a week. 52 weeks, 104 episodes.
Was that a profitable venture?
Yes.
It was, okay.
It did well. In the beginning we lost a lot of money, but started to pick up. And because we got into control of the shooting time, and then we were able to bring it out at a fairly commercial kind of income, cost to income, we were able to balance it well.
So that was the only television venture that you attempted?
No, I did one more. After that I made a film. Then after that film, I did one again for the DD started the morning thing.
The morning segment.
Morning segment. That's where I made something called Kismat. So that was also, that did well. Then later on, went to do a film, a series called Gatha, which was also 100 episode, just a little bit less than that. But that actually was on Star Plus. Star Plus, the audience was not a needy audience. It was Star Plus had not made a dent in the...
So they were just coming in?
Yes.
Star Plus, okay. And that took the television industry a much higher.
Then Star Plus, once the
you had your
Das Bahu thing came in.
And then you had
it went
ZTV
crazy.
And much later after that. Before we part, Ramesh, I mean, we talked a lot about Sholay, but I also like to talk about your other very, very popular film like Shahan, Shakti, Trishul. These are all yours, right?
Not Trishul.
Not Trishul.
Shahan, Shakti, Sagar.
Sagar, yeah, right, exactly, Sagar. Tell us about that. Sagar is what? Rishi Kapoor and Kamal Hassan ji?
Kamal Hassan, Rishi Kapoor, and
Dimple.
Dimple, yeah.
That was a combination of that time as well, like getting Kamal Hassan from South, and then you have this lover boy image of Rishi Kapoor, and Dimple was she was taking a sabbatical, and you...
Yeah, she did only one film first.
You woke her up and brought her to the set. How did that come about?
Again, we decided, because I like to do each film different from my previous film. So Shakti was a drama, father and son. So
yeah, you brought in Dilip Kumarji with Amitabh Bachchan, which was also another huge step.
And then I felt maybe a love story. Let's think of something which is different. Discussed it with Javed Saab. Unfortunately, they had split at that time, Salim Javed. So Javed, then let's do a triangle, but it was just a thought. It was not a script. It took about a year for that to happen. And then a lot of it was made on the set, in the sets, improvisations and how it would be. Because Kamal Hassan, I found, was an actor so full of himself and he was so right in the way he did things, in the sense, sir, can I do it like this? Only if you feel that it's okay, then I can, and he would do it in a certain way. It was written in a certain way, and he did it a little differently.
As opposed to Rishi Kapoorji, who's very spontaneous and...
Yeah, he's simple. And because his role was like that. But him, he's part of the village, he's jumping around, he's got... So all that energy was his. He brought that extra energy to the character. So that's how actors also do when they make it their own and bring something extra out of it. You got to, and you got to be prepared to accept that. As a director, you must. Otherwise, if I had said no, he would have been normal. But it may not have been the performance it was.
Before I let you go, how's life now? What are you doing now? And what do you?
I am thinking of a project, which hopefully, if it all works out in the next month or two, then by the end of the year I might shoot. It's not a big budget or a huge thing, but it's set in a place called Mathura in UP. It's set over there with characters from there. So I think if all works out, then I should be on that.
I wish you all the best. May you have a very long and healthy life and creative life. And
thank you so much.
And don't let your passion go.
That was two cinema legends in one frame, and this is Creative Forum. We'll be back with more shows and episodes. This is me, Suveksha Rajak. Let's leave for another creativity.
Invoking the eternal, celebrating the divine, a typical Nepali festival that defines indigenous dwellers of Kathmandu Valley, the Neva community. The country celebrates not just gods, but also the divine spark within every soul. In the heart of the Kathmandu Valley, where every courtyard breathes history, the Neva community observes Ma Puja, a ritual devoted to the reverence of one's own being.
प्राणी भएर हामी मनुष्य भएर जन्मिएपछि हामी अब स्वयं आफूले आफ्नो आत्मामै नै सबभन्दा ठुलो कुरो हो त्यो यो आफू नै सर्वश्रेष्ठ हो त्यसलाई आफूले सम्मान गर्ने एउटा परिपाटी हो यो म भनेको आफू नै भयो स्वयं भयो सेल्फ रेस्पेक्ट हो एक किसिमले यो भन्नाले यसको चाहिँ नि यो के इम्पोर्टेन्ट महत्त्व चाहिँ धेरै गहिराइमा छ यो हामी अरू देवी देवताले जति मान्छौँ त्यो जस्तै नै हामी आफूलाई पनि मान्नुपर्छ यो भने आत्मसम्मान हो यो.
Marking the festival of Tihar, family members sit before mandalas drawn with care, their patterns depicting the vastness of the cosmos and the central point symbolizing the self. As oil lamps glow and offerings of grain are placed with quiet devotion, the ritual becomes a meditation on harmony. It's a belief that all divinity does not dwell afar but lives within. The preparation begins with cleaning and decorating the house, symbolizing the removal of negativity. A sacred mandala, a circular design drawn on the floor with colored powders, rice, flowers, and oil lamps, is created for each family member. The mandala represents the universe and the individual's connection to the cosmic energy.
मण्डला भनेको संस्कृतको उसमा चाहिँ सर्कल के त्यो गोलाकारलाई चाहिँ जलाइन्छ त्यसलाई भन्छ हैन अनि अर्को चाहिँ त्यसले चाहिँ के गर्छ भन्दाखेरि रिप्रेजेन्टेड टु युनिभर्स भन्छौ त्यो नेभर एन्डिङ भन्छौ नि हैन सर्कलमा त तपाईको उनै हुँदैन नि त्यो चलिरा हुन्छ त्यसलाई रिप्रेजेन्ट गर्छ मण्डलाले.
Family members sit before their respective mandalas as the ritual begins. Each person draws their own mandala, which serves as a spiritual focal point during the ritual. The mandala represents the individual's body, soul, and mind and forms the base for the rest of the offerings. Traditionally, the ritual is performed by families with each member sitting in a meditative pose. They align themselves in a row according to age, with begging with the eldest. This group setting underscores the communal aspect of the ritual, while the meditative posture encourages mindfulness and introspection.
We can celebrate ourselves, that is, we do puja for our body to be healthy, for more healthy for the next coming years also. We also forget our past deeds or any bad activities or good activities that we have done.
Offerings of sagun or ceremonial offerings comprising boiled egg, fish, meat, lentil cake and rice wine are presented, representing balance and completeness in life. The ritual also includes tika, a mixture of vermilion and rice placed on the forehead, denoting purity and divine blessing. Fruits, nuts, and sweets are distributed, symbolizing abundance and goodwill, while the rotation of oil lamps around each person wards off evil spirits. The ceremony concludes with prayers for longevity, peace, and self-awareness. Mahapuja is not merely a ritual. It is a profound spiritual act that reminds every individual to respect the self as sacred, to maintain inner balance, and to carry positive energy into the coming year. Mahapuja coincides with the Nevar New Year, Nepal Sambat, marking both renewal and reflection.
महपूजा गरिसकेपछि चाहिँ एकदम आनन्द आउँछ, खुसी हुन्छ, खुसी लाग्छ किनभने सम्पूर्ण सबै परिवारहरू दाजुभाइ आमा बुवाहरूसँग बसेर सबै चाहिँ यो महपूजा गर्दाखेरि यसलाई छुट्टै एउटा चाहिँ ऊर्जा र उमङ्ग दिएको चाहिँ मैले महसुस गरेको छु हैन। त्यो कारणले गर्दाखेरि यो महपूजाले चाहिँ मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो फिल दिन्छ भन्दाखेरि एउटा चाहिँ एकदम पोजिटिभ हैन, एउटा चाहिँ आउने दिनहरु मैले पनि के गर्न चाहिँ सक्छ, अब म के गर्न सक्छु भन्ने जस्तो एउटा चाहिँ यो पोजिटिभ चाहिँ एनर्जी चाहिँ मलाई दिएको जस्तो मैले अनुभव गरेको छु।
The ritual honors the body as a living embodiment of the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and sky, believing each person of their connection to the natural world. In worshipping the self, one reaffirms balance among these elements and begins the year grounded, focused, and in harmony with life itself.
Hello and welcome to our Business Weekly Roundup in the Business World. I am your host, Siksha Bhattrai. This week, global markets were driven by rising inflation in the United States, strong economic performance in major emerging economies such as India, regulatory pressure on global technology firms, and shifting trades in trade, employment, and aviation. We begin with the biggest economic stories shaping the global outlook. In the United States, where inflation has climbed to its highest level in 3 years, rising energy costs have pushed consumer prices higher, adding renewed pressure to households and businesses. The latest figures are expected to remain a key focus for policymakers as markets assess the outlook for the world's largest economy.
Inflation in the United States rose at its fastest pace in 3 years in May, driven largely by soaring energy prices linked to the conflict in the Middle East. According to the Labor Department, consumer prices increased 4.2% compared with the year earlier, marking the biggest annual rise since April 2023. It was the third consecutive month of strong inflation, adding pressure on American households as many continue to dip into their savings to cover everyday expenses. Rising prices also outpaced wage growth for a second straight month, raising concerns about the impact on the broader economy. The latest figures are expected to strengthen the case for the Federal Reserve to keep interest rates unchanged. The increase in the cost of living also poses a political challenges for President Donald Trump and his Republican Party ahead of November's midterm elections.
Turning to Asia, India has reported strong economic growth for the last fiscal year, expanding by 7.7% despite global uncertainty. Growth was driven by broad-based expansion across manufacturing, services and agriculture, reinforcing India's position as one of the fastest-growing major economies in the world.
India's economy grew by 7.7% in the 2025-26 fiscal year, accelerating from 7.1% in the previous year, according to recent government data. Despite ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, the country's GDP expanded by 7.8% in the January-March quarter. Data from the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation showed the primary sector grew by 3.2%, supported mainly by agriculture and fisheries. Key sectors including manufacturing, trade, hotels, transport, communication, broadcasting-related services, and real estate recorded double-digit growth during the fiscal year.
Global trade continues to show resilience despite geopolitical tensions and rising costs. The World Trade Organization says demand for technology products has helped support international commerce, even as it warns that sustained instability could weigh on future growth prospects.
Global goods trade remained resilient in the first half of 2026, despite disruptions caused by the ongoing Middle East conflict, according to the World Trade Organization. The WTO's goods trade barometer edged down to 101.7 from 102.3 in January, signaling a potential slowdown in merchandise trade growth while remaining above the long-term trend. Barometer values above 100 indicate above-trend trade volumes, while values below 100 suggests that goods trade has either fallen below trend or is likely to decline in the near future. Strong demand for AI-related electronic components helped offset some of the conflict's negative impact, with the electronics index rising to 105.5. The export orders index also remained slightly above trend at 100.5, indicating continued trade activity. The WTO forecasts global merchandise trade growth of 1.9% in 2026, but warned that higher energy prices could reduce growth to 1.4%, while sustained AI investment could provide an additional boost of 0.5%.
South Korea's labor market is facing growing pressure, particularly among young workers. Youth employment has now declined for a second consecutive year, marking the longest downturn since the global financial crisis and raising concerns about long-term job creation and economic opportunity.
Youth employment in South Korea has fallen for a second straight year, extending a 24-month decline, the longest since the global financial crisis. As stable jobs become harder to find, more young people are seeking work overseas. More than 22,000 attended a government-hosted overseas job fair this year. The number of regular employees in their 20s fell by more than 160,000 from a year earlier, while hiring remained weak in manufacturing and professional services. The number of people in their late 20s who are neither working or seeking work also rose by more than 30,000, the largest increase since the COVID-19 pandemic employment shock. Experts warn the prolonged slowdown is limiting opportunities for young people to secure stable incomes and narrow wealth disparities.
In Europe, regulators are tightening oversight of major technology companies. The European Union has ordered Meta to allow rival AI chatbot providers access to WhatsApp during an ongoing antitrust investigation. The move highlights growing concerns over the competition in the fast-growing artificial intelligence sector.
The EU has told Meta that it must allow AI chatbots operated by rival firms to use WhatsApp for free. The European Commission said the firm would need to maintain that access while it concluded an antitrust investigation into the tech giant's decision to bar access for AI providers other than Meta AI on the messaging platform. It said the intervention was needed to prevent serious and irreparable harm to competition in this growing market by Meta's conduct, which it said appeared to infringe EU competition rules. The EU said it began its investigation in December 2025 after Meta banned third-party general-purpose AI assistants from the WhatsApp for Business API. It said that appeared to be an abuse of Meta's dominant position in European markets.
Artificial intelligence is reshaping global labor markets in unexpected ways. In India, thousands of workers are being paid to record everyday activities to help train AI-powered robots. The trend highlights how human labor is increasingly being used to build the next generation of automation technologies.
Imagine helping train the robots of the future by simply doing everyday chores. In India, 25-year-old housewife Nagi Reddy Sri Ramya Chandra wears a smartphone strapped to her head as she films herself slicing mangoes and performing household tasks. The first-person videos are used by global technology companies to take AI-powered robots on how humans move and work in real-life situations. She earns over $2 for every hour of footage and is among thousands of AI data trainers supporting the country's fast-growing artificial intelligence industry. Developers believe this so-called egocentric data will help humanoid robots better imitate human actions. Some trainers work from home, while others use video glasses, head-mounted cameras, and motion sensors in factories and specialized studios. The global humanoid robots market is expanding rapidly, with projection of more than 1 billion robots in use by 2050. India is becoming a key hub for AI data collection, while concerns remain over automation and its impact on jobs.
In South Asia, Nepal has received fresh financial assistance from the International Monetary Fund. The funding comes as the country continues its economic reform program aimed at strengthening financial stability, improving governance and supporting medium-term growth.
The International Monetary Fund has approved approximately $42.9 million in new assistance for Nepal. Under its extended credit facility program, bringing the total aid Nepal will receive under the program to $384.1 million. The IMF Executive Board meeting on June 5th cited Nepal's significant progress in structural reforms, including modernization of its monetary framework, stronger financial oversight, and improved public accountability as the basis for releasing the funds. IMF projects Nepal's economic growth at 3% for the current fiscal year 2025-26. Weighed down by political unrest, lower agricultural output, weak private investment, and spillover effects from the Middle East conflict. The ECF program, first approved in January 12, 2022 for 38 months, will remain in effect until July 11, 2026, giving Nepal a continued framework for fiscal and financial reform. Under the program, Nepal has committed to strengthening its foreign exchange reserves, improving public financial management, and pressing ahead with its broader economic reform agenda.
Saudi Arabia has launched Riyadh Air as part of its strategy to transform the kingdom into a global aviation hub. The new career is central to efforts to diversify the economy beyond oil and strengthen competition across the Gulf aviation sector.
Saudi Arabia has officially launched Riyadh Air, its second national carrier, after more than a year of delays, pressing ahead with ambitions to transform the kingdom into a global aviation hub. Despite Mid-East crises, economic uncertainty, and intense competition, the new airline joins Saudia as the country's second state-owned carrier and is central to Saudi Arabia's strategy of positioning Riyadh as a major gateway for international travel. Backed by the government, Riyadh Air aims to expand connectivity, attract millions of transit passengers, and support the kingdom's broader economic diversification plans under Vision 2030. The carrier will compete with established Gulf airlines as Saudi Arabia seeks to challenge Dubai's status as the world's busiest hub for international passengers.
The global aviation, meanwhile, is facing a mixed outlook. While passenger demand remains strong, airlines are expected to see significantly lower profits this year due to rising fuel costs and continued geopolitical disruptions.
Airlines expect to carry more passengers this year, but earn only half as much profit as in 2025, as high fuel prices don't appear to be fully deterring travel. This is according to projections published by the International Air Transport Association. IATA predicted its 370-member airlines, which accounts for 85% of global air traffic, will carry 5.1 billion passengers this year, which is up 2.4% from 2025, when passenger traffic was estimated at 4.98 billion. But the rising fuel costs and Middle East war disruptions could reportedly affect the net margins, according to the IATA projections, which show the profits will shrink from $45 billion in 2025 to $23 billion, thus decreasing the net margin from 4.2% to just 2%. While Middle East airlines, including Qatar Airways and Emirates, are expected to face a difficult year, European airlines are projected to become the most profitable, with net margins of 3.1%, followed by North American Airlines at 2.5% and Asia Pacific at 2.1%.
China is advancing its ambitious in-future transport technology, with the new electric flying car models reaching key testing and certification stages. Developers say the technology could support urban mobility and emergency services as competition in advanced air transport intensifies.
China's flying car industry reached a major milestone as new electric models entered critical development stages, signaling a new era for urban transportation. In Chengdu, a 6-seat flying car underwent airworthiness certification after completing initial test flights, while another model in Guangzhou successfully carried out its first public flight. Developers said the aircraft could support tourism, emergency rescue, and intercity travel. Experts projected that as technology advanced and costs declined, flying cars could become a mainstream mode of transport by 2035, potentially creating a market worth 10 trillion yuan.
And finally, the commercial reach of the World Cup is being felt even in countries not competing on the pitch. In China, manufacturers are producing football-themed merchandise, including Lionel Messi-inspired plush toys, as businesses tap into global sporting demand and fan-driven consumption.
Toy charms shaped like a goat and decked out in Lionel Messi's Argentina number 10 shot pepper a factory tabletop in China, where sellers are betting on the country's lucrative fan market for a big World Cup boost. The World Cup begins in North America on Thursday, but China won't be there after failing to qualify once again, leaving their sole appearance back in 2002. Yet, there's still plenty of interest in the country, and the showpiece is a boon for Chinese merchants, crunching out kits and accessories for fans, spending on emotional value, a rare bright spot in a domestic economy plagued by sluggish consumption. The palm-sized soft toy goats, homage to Messi's title as the GOAT, greatest of all time, are a bestseller for the All-Star partner, a Chinese firm that has contracted with teams, including Argentina, to make branded products. Nearby were soft toy footballers resembling Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo, fluffy roosters in France polos, and teddy bears in Spain kits.
And that is our weekly business roundup. Inflation, growth, trade, technology, and aviation all moved the story this week, showing just how tightly the global economy moves together. And we'll be back with the next chapter as these stories develop. Thank you for watching Business World.
Votekosi and Trisuli river rafting. Rafting has lately been gaining popularity among tourists. The adventure sport, which previously was popular only among foreigners, is now drawing the local tourists as well. Trisuli and Votekosi rivers that are close to Kathmandu are two popular destinations for rafting in Bagmati province. Let us first explore Votekosi. Whitewater rafting at Votekosi river is included among the 10 best adventure destinations for rafting in the world. Votekosi, which is well facilitated with food and accommodation, can be a great destination for rafting and other adventure sports. Rafting at Trisuli river is popular among domestic tourists, as the location can be reached in an hour from Kathmandu. This is where most tourists go for rafting in Nepal. Rafting packages of Votekosi and Trishuli are appropriate for those who want to spend some good time for a few days.
Welcome to the new episode of The Hinterlands on NTV World. This weekly show brings together stories from the hinterlands of Nepal, takes you beyond the cities and highways into the heart of Nepal's rural landscapes. I am Rosina Rai, and we will be leading you into this journey every week. Tonight on The Hinterlands, we bring you stories from across the country, ranging from the towering Himalayas to disputed borderlands and forgotten heritage sites across the country. We begin with the 76th anniversary of the first ascent of Annapurna First, followed by concerns from the Susta border region, a neglected archaeological site in Bhojpur, the historic Panchdeval in Dailik, awaiting preservation, and an inspiring story of a returnee migrant turning to successful fish farming in Kanchanpur. We begin with one of the most majestic and formidable peaks on earth, Annapurna First. Long before Mount Everest was first summited, Annapurna First became the first 8,000-meter peak climbed by humans, marking a historic milestone in global mountaineering. This year marks the 76th anniversary of that first ascent, one of the world's most challenging and dangerous mountains. To mark the occasion, the 6th Annapurna Marathon was held under the slogan, Tourism for All Seasons, organized by the Annapurna Century Tourism Committee. June 3rd, 2026 marked the 76th anniversary of the first successful ascent of Annapurna First. This is considered as a significant milestone in global mountaineering history. One of Nepal's premier trekking destinations, the Annapurna Himalayan range rises to an altitude of 4,130 meters and attracts both domestic and international trekkers throughout the year. The peak was first successfully climbed on June 3, 1950 by French mountaineers Maurice Ozouk and Louis Lacanel, making it the first 8,000-meter summit ever conquered even before Mount Everest. According to the Department of Tourism, over 536 climbers have reached the summit so far. Marking the anniversary occasion, the 6th Annapurna Marathon was organized under the slogan Tourism for All Seasons by the Annapurna Century Tourism Community. The race route stretched from Annapurna Base Camp through Machapusre Base Camp, Bagar, Deurali, Himalaya, Chomrong and Kimrong Khola before concluding at Khandruk. Athletes from Jumla dominated the competition, sweeping both the men's and women's categories. In the women's section, Manju Rawat claimed gold, followed by Raja Lakshmi Rawal and Kalpana Bura, completing a clean sweep for Jumla. In men's category, Dal Bahadur Kunwar secured first place with an improved performance, while Tilak Bahadur Sunwar of the Nepal Army finished second and local runner Sachin Gurung came third in the competition. Moving to the western plains of Nepal, residents of Susta in Navalparasi have expressed concern after reports that Indian authorities obstructed river control works intended to protect the area from flooding. With the monsoon season approaching, delays in embankment construction along the Narayani River have heightened fears of flooding and river erosion in this highly sensitive border region. Authorities and locals are urging timely intervention to ensure the safety of settlements along the riverbank. A report.
Construction of an embankment is currently underway along nearly 1 kilometer of the Narayani River in Susta, a historically significant Nepali territory located across the river. The federal government has allocated nearly 120 million rupees for the project to protect the area from riverbank erosion and seasonal flooding. However, plans to begin additional river control work about 132 meters from the current embankment site have been put on hold after objections from the Indian side. Although a contract for the extension has already been signed, local officials say work could not proceed after Indian authorities requested that construction be stopped.
सुस्ताको अपर पार्टमा चाहिँ थोरै चाहिँ बाँकी थियो हाम्रो काम गर्नलाई अनि त्यो सँगै अब हामीलाई अलिकति रिस्क हुन्छ भनेर हामीले आयोजनले चाहिँ सानो ठेक्का निकालिकन अब हजुरको सम्झौता गरेर हामीले काम अगाडि बढाउँदै गर्दाखेरि अब भारतीय पक्षले चाहिँ उहाँहरूले चाहिँ यो विवादित सीमामा चाहिँ हामी काम गर्न दिन्नौं भन्ने हिसाबले उहाँहरूले अलिकति इस्यु उठाएको हुनाले त्यो कामलाई चाहिँ हामीले अगाडि बढाउन नसकेको अवस्था छ।
Despite discussions between border security officials from both countries on Sunday, the Indian side reportedly maintained that the area is disputed and that no construction should take place without mutual agreement. Chief District Officer Deepak Raj Nepal said the matter has been reported to Nepal's Ministry of Home Affairs, adding that India has argued that any work in the area should move forward only through bilateral consensus.
यहाँ टेका लागेको ठाउँमा अब निर्माण कार्य अहिलेसम्म सुरु भएको छैन। निर्माण कार्य सुरु गर्नको लागि खास गरेर हिजो हाम्रो सशस्त्र को टिम र इन्डियाको एसएसबी टिमले अब बोर्डर निरीक्षणको क्रममा पनि नयाँ निर्माणको लागि अब दुवै पक्षबाट चाहिँ एउटा सहमति भए पश्चात चाहिँ गर्नलाई उपयुक्त हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ उहाँहरूले राख्नु भएको छ।
According to local residents, India has obstructed the project, claiming that the embankment falls within a disputed zone. Of Susta's total area of 40,980 hectares, around 14,000 hectares are said to have been encroached upon, while another 19,400 hectares remain under dispute, thus limiting local access and use. However, Rabindra Jaiswal, spokesperson for the Susta Protection Campaign, insists that the embankment is being built on Nepali territory and warns that failure to complete the project could put the very existence of Susta at risk.
यो जुन अहिले काम भइरहेको छ नि त्यो लगभग 14 करोड काम 3 महिनादेखि त्यो काम भएर पनि जुन अहिले थप 132 मिटर काम भएन भने जुन एसएसबीहरुले भारतीय पक्षलाई अवरोध गरेको छ भने त्यो सुस्ताको भूमि हामी जोगाउन सक्दैनौं किनकि त्यहीबाट नदी नजिक आइसकेको छ। त्यहाँबाट नदी भित्र छिर्छ त्यसपछि पुरै सुस्ता सका पार्छ।
With the monsoon season just around the corner, local residents fear that any further delay in the river control project could leave Susta increasingly vulnerable to flooding and erosion. The dispute has once again highlighted the challenges of managing infrastructure and disaster prevention efforts in sensitive border areas.
Now turning to eastern Nepal, where rich archaeological heritage sites outside major tourist routes often remain overlooked and neglected. One such site is the Chulachuli cave located in Diteni Dalgaon of Ram Prasad Rai Rural Municipality in Bhojpur district. Despite its historical and cultural significance, the site has received little conservation attention and continues to await official recognition and preservation efforts.
The Chulachuli cave in Diteni, Dalgaon of Ram Prasad Rai Rural Municipality Ward 4 has been left in limbo for many years. As a result, the historic place is overshadowed in recent times. Despite ongoing conservation and development efforts by the local government, the site is poorly known due to insufficient promotion. This place carries the legacy of ancient archaeological standings that include various images of deities which can be seen carved in the stones here. There is a religious belief among the locals that wishes are fulfilled upon visiting religiously significant place known as Chulachuli Cave. Locals lament geographic remoteness and lack of promotion have prevented it to gain not only state recognition but also failing to gain global momentum.
यो प्राकृतिक हिसाबले दिएको संरचनाहरू चाहिँ जस्तो यहाँ तलतिर गएर ढोलहरू बजाउन सकिन्छ चाहिँ गाईको दुध थुनहरू चाहिँ यहाँनेर खोज्दै जाँदा भेट्न गएको कुराहरू यो प्राकृतिक बनावट नै छ त्यस हिसाबले पनि यो आकर्षक छ र यो प्रचार प्रसारको कमीमा यो अलिकति ओझेल हुन गएको हो कि भन्ने हामीलाई चाहिँ लागेको छ
हामी भन्दा अग्रज हाम्रा बुढापाकाहरूले भने अनुसार यसलाई चाहिँ सानो हलेसी पनि भन्ने गरिन्थ्यो तत्कालीन समयमा.
Spread across approximately 2 ropani of land on a hilltop, the stones here are carved like riverbed boulders. Inside the cave, alongside statues of Lord Shiva and various deities, are carvings resembling an elephant's trunk, a cow's udder, and a serpent, according to local experts. Rural Municipality Chair Tham Bahadur Rai stated that conservation work and construction of various structures are underway under the Nepal Climate Adaptation Model Program. A detailed project report, DPR, is being prepared for broader development of the area, he said.
चुलाचुली गुफा अहिलेसम्म प्रचारको हिसाबले एकदमै पछि परेको गुफा हो. चुलाचुली गुफादेखि हामी माथि भुल्केको माथि डाँडाखड्का हुँदै बागबुङ पदमार्ग र त्यहाँदेखि उता पापमाकाम गढी जोड्दै नाक्साका हुँदै हाम्रो गोलमा राजा गोलमा रानीको एउटा रेन्जलाई चाहिँ हामीले आन्तरिक पर्यटनको रूपमा विकास गर्नको निम्ति यसको डिपिआर पनि भएको छ.
Addressing the issue, the rural municipality says it is putting effort in order to develop this religious and tourist destination within its jurisdiction, implementing a master plan.
Similar concern is seen in mid-western Nepal, where the historic Panchadewal complex in Dailek stands as a remarkable example of stone architecture. The site features 22 standing Sikhara-style temples, believed to date back to the 11th century, making it a significant cultural and archaeological landmark. Local authorities, along with the Department of Archaeology, have recently begun efforts to preserve and promote this site at a global level.
The historic Panchadewal area in Dailek district of western Nepal carries the legacy of the ancient Sinja kingdom, reflecting the rich heritage and bravery of Karnali province. Located in Bhurti village of Ward No. 6 in Narayan municipality, the site features 22 standing Sikhara-style monuments that attracts thousands of visitors every year. However, the area remained neglected for a long and was in urgent need of restoration. In a significant step in coordination with the local government and the Department of Archaeology, preparations have begun to declare the site as a protected heritage area. As many such heritage structures in Dailek continue to face the threat of deterioration due to inadequate conservation efforts. Believed to have been constructed around the 11th century, the Panchadewal complex, a remarkable example of ancient architecture, was recommended by UNESCO for inclusion in the World Heritage List in 2008. Despite this recognition, little substantial conservation work was carried out for many years. After an 18-year gap, a team led by the Director General of the Department of Archaeology conducted a field inspection. Ward Chairperson of Narayan Municipality, Janak Neupane, stated that the local government is committed to fulfilling all necessary criteria to advance the campaign for listing Panchadewal as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
क्षेत्रका मान्छेहरुसँग सहयोगको पुनः अपेक्षा गर्ने र हामी चाहिँ एकताबद्ध भएर यो सम्पदा सूचीका इन्डिकेटरहरु के हुन् ती सबै इन्डिकेटरहरु नागरिकको तहबाट स्थानीय सरकारको तहबाट पूरा गर्ने प्रतिबद्धता भन्नु.
There are more than 60 such historic devils and stone pillars within Narayan municipality alone. While some lie on private land, many have already been damaged or lost due to a lack of proper preservation efforts.
And finally, a story that reflects resilience and opportunity at home. Amid rising labor migration trends, some returning workers are proving that meaningful livelihoods can still be created within the country. One such example is Bijay Chaudhary from Kanchanpur, a former migrant worker in the Gulf who has now transformed himself into an award-winning fish farmer, building a successful enterprise back home.
विदेश जानु जरुरत पनि छैन सर। चाहे जुनसुकै व्यवसाय भए पनि तपाई माछा पालन, गाई पालन, भैँसी पालन, बङ्गुर पालन, बाख्रा पालन जुनसुकै व्यवसाय यदि राम्रो तरिकाले गरियो भने युवाहरू जस्तै हामी विदेशमा 12 घण्टा 24 घण्टा नन स्टप चाहिँ त्यो त्यत्रो गर्मीमा हामी काम गरिरहेको त्यही हाम्रो यो मरुभूमि हामी नेपालमै त्यस्तो नेपाल सरकारले पनि अलिकति व्यवस्था गरिदियो भने त्यो हामी यही पानी र माटोमा सुन फलाउन सकिन्छ।
Like many Nepali youths, Bijay Chaudhary once believed that foreign employment was the only path to a better future. Driven by financial hardship and a dream of supporting his family, he spent 4 years working in the Gulf. But life abroad failed to give him the sense of purpose he was searching for. After returning home to Lalchari rural municipality in Kanchanpur, Chaudhary made a bold decision. Instead of living again, he chose to invest in Nepal. With limited savings and a strong determination, he started fish farming 6 years ago. What began as a small-scale venture has now grown into a successful and sustainable business. Today, fish farming is not only supporting his family financially, but also creating hope within his community. His success has inspired many local youths to rethink foreign employment and explore opportunities in agriculture and entrepreneurship at home. Recognizing his contribution, the government of Nepal recently honored Chaudhary as an outstanding farmer.
भूरा व्यवस्थापनमा धेरै खर्च हुन्छ सर। दाना र त्यो भूरामा र हामी प्रति कट्ठा 300 को दरले व्यवस्थापन गर्छौं भूरा र त्यसको दाना र पानी मल खाद मिलाएर मोटामोटी हामीले यो उसबाट 2.5 बिघाबाट लगभग 40 देखि 45 क्विन्टल सम्म माछा बिक्री वितरण गर्छौं र त्यो बराबरको त्यो व्यवस्थापनमा लगभग 6-7 देखि खर्च आउँछ हाम्रो र त्यो कटाएर 7-8 लाख जति वार्षिक हामी।
A demand for fish continues to grow in local markets. Chaudhary is steadily expanding his business. With that inspiring note, we came to the end of this episode of The Hinterlands. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you again next week with more stories from across Nepal's hinterlands. Do follow us on our website, nepaltelevision.com, social media handles, and the YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye for now.
Annapurna Circuit Trek features in world's 10 best destinations and adventures. The trekking circuit is the choice of many trekkers as it offers both adventure along with mesmerizing view of mountain ranges. Arguably the best trekking circuit in the world, travelers get up close with dozens of mountains including the Annapurna, Dhaulagiri, Nilgiri. Annapurna Circuit ideally is a 14-day trek. The circuit passes through Lamjung, Manang, Mustang and Myagdi district, including Thorangla Pass as the highest point. Places including Thampus, Ghandruk and Poon Hill are part of this trekking circuit. The revered Muktinath shrine is also part of the circuit. Only foreigners were seen in this circuit few years back, but now domestic tourists are also flocking the area. If you are looking for a lifetime trekking experience, then pack your bags for Annapurna trekking circuit. Mardi Base Camp Trek, also part of the Annapurna circuit, is another alternative route for trekkers who can't afford time. Trekkers can be up close with mountains including the Annapurna range, Dhaulagiri, Machapuchre and Manasalu in this circuit. This 7-day circuit is attracting many trekkers for obvious reasons.
A reflection of biodiversity along with nature and culture. A view of the silver-like shining mountain range right before your eyes. A chronicle of the rituals and traditions of Kirati people from creation to civilization and the present day. A unique tourist trail in Nepal filled with natural beauty, the Mundum Trail. Mundum Trail is a uniquely identified trekking route in Nepal filled with natural beauty. The trail is an excellent tourist destination for trekkers who want to enjoy the culture and traditions of various ethnic groups while observing natural beauty. The Mundum Trail was identified as a new trekking route with the aim of promoting tourism in Khotang, Bhojpur, Sankhua Sabha and Solukhumbu regions of eastern Nepal. The specialty of the Mundum Trail is trekking while observing the tall mountain ranges, high hills and beautiful views of the flat plains of Tarai. Since it is connected to the culture of the Kirati people, this trail is named after the Mundum rites of Kirat Rais. Various structures reflecting the culture and traditions of the Kirat Rais built around the trail. Large grassy meadows and yaks and sheep herds raised by local herdsmen highlight the speciality of the trek. Dishes reflecting the identity of ethnic groups like Kirat Rai, Sherpa, Tamang and others, local organic food produced by herdsmen, various types of vegetation and precious herbs can be found during the Mundum trek. The trail is a total of 107 kilometers long. Both domestic and international visitors say the rivers originating from Mahabharat mountain range, forests covered in rhododendrons, rare and endangered wildlife and plants, and animal husbandry by hard-working farmers captivates their hearts. The Mundum Trail, where one can trek through the hills with the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, at its head, is a precious gift from nature. It's a trek where one can escape the heat of the Tarai, enjoy natural beauty, reveling in the sweet sounds of birds and connecting with endangered plants, making the experience all unique. As there is heavy snowfall in winter, the number of tourists trekking and playing in the snow along the Mundum Trail witnesses a surge every season. The Mundum Trail is connected to religion, culture, rituals and lifestyle of entire Kirat community. Mundum itself means the Kirat culture, rituals and the daily life of Kirati people or Kirat knowledge. And the concept of Mundum Trail is also about introducing the culture, lifestyle, and history of the Kirati people to the world, familiarizing them with the community. The journey along the trail, which spreads through uphills and downhills, offers close-up views of more than 24 beautiful mountain ranges. That includes Nuptse, Everest, Lhotse, Makalu, Kanchenjunga, and Kumbhakarna. They all delight every traveler. The Mundum trek starts from Dawa Bhanjang in Diktil, Sakaila Rural Municipality of Khotang, and Bhojpur Bazar in Bhojpur. Most tourists start their journey on this trail from Chakhewa Bhanjang in Temki Moying Rural Municipality, Bhojpur. The trek starting from Chakhewa Bhanjang is a gift of biodiversity, culture, and nature. The trail is also a tourist area listed among the 100 must-visit destinations selected by the government of Nepal. Temke Dada is an excellent tourist destination near the starting point of the Mundum Trail. It lies on the border of Bhojpur and Khotang. It is located at an altitude of about 3,032 meters above sea level and is a flat plateau on top of a single hill. The history of Temke Dada is also linked to Kirati civilization. Temke Dada is a habitat for various species of trees like jamb, rhododendron and chimal, as well as endangered wildlife such as red panda, ghorol and thar. Various places in Koshi province can be clearly seen from Temke Dada. From here, one can have a panoramic view of dozens of mountain ranges, including the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, Makalu, Kanchenjunga and Gauri Shankar. Apart from that, from Temke Dada, one can watch the sunrise and sunset. And when the weather is clear, one can even see the cities of Sikkim, Darjeeling, Kalimpong, Siliguri in India and cities in Bhutan. The Kirati people perform special worship on full moons of Baisakh. In this area, precious herbs, locally called Chiraito, Majito, Tulo Okhete, Pakhanbed, Nagbeli, Ban Karela, Muse Karela and Satua are found in abundance. Another major attraction of Temke Dada is the rhododendron. During blooming season, the forest in this area becomes vibrant red with fully bloomed flowers. After a hike and exploration of Temke Hill, surrounded by beautiful nature, one reaches Dhotre Deorali in about 6 hours. During the journey to Dhotre, trekkers enjoy nature's embrace, marvel at various rock formations, and relish the trek while connecting with the high hills. At Dhotre Deorali, there are arrangements for food and lodging for tourists. Leaving Dhotre and moving forward on the trek, various structures have been built targeting the culture and traditions of Kirati people to attract tourists. The Mundum Trail's construction began with a 35% investment from Koshi provincial government, 35% from Swiss government and 30% from the local government. Along this entire trail, rest stops, drinking water taps and stone platforms have been built for tourists. 15 ponds in the shape of a chindo, which is a traditional Rai vessel reflecting Kirat Rai culture, have also been constructed. This is a place where shamans have walked, a place of tantric power and an extremely scenic area. Mundum is the name of a Kirat scripture. The trail is named after this sacred name. This trail, which integrates various aspects of Kirati civilization, culture, history and life from Silichung to Mayung and then to Temke, and from Temke to Kualung and Tuachung, proceeds along the ridge of Mahabharat mountain range. Another special beauty of the Mundum Trail is Has Pokhari. Located at an altitude of 3,333 meters above sea level, Has Pokhari is a special destination that should not be missed during the trek. At the edge of House Pokuri, a statue of Sumnima and Paruhang has been erected. According to Kirat Mundum, Sumnima and Paruhang are the creators of this universe. The gentle fragrance of various species of flowers blooming in the grassy meadows captivates every tourist visiting House Pokuri. The rhododendrons that bloom in season in the House Pokuri area make one feel like staying in the vicinity of the pond forever. During their journey to House Pokuri, travelers can observe at least 16 species of rhododendrons that bloom during the spring season. Another important destination of the Mundum Trail is Mayung Dada. Located in Temki Mayung Rural Municipality of Bhojpur, Mayung Dada is a beautiful place with tourism potential. The journey to Mayung Dada, which is at an altitude of about 3,600 meters above sea level, takes place through the middle of a very smooth meadow. During this journey, any tourist with the melodious sound of music wishes to be immersed in the glory of beautiful nature, even if for a short while. The Mayung area is also a special observation point for horses. The attraction of horses roaming freely under the open sky is another unmissable feature of Mayung Dada. The Mayung area, which is connected to the neighboring district of Khotang, has a balanced climate, not as cold as the Himalayas, nor as hot as the Tarai. The Mayung area is also a habitat for the globally endangered red panda. During the Mayung journey, adorned with biodiversity and nature, one can enjoy the rhododendrons that bloom vibrantly across the hillsides in the spring. One can sit on various mystical hills and move forward with the cool breeze, mountain views, and by cherishing the natural beauty in their heart and soul. The blooming chap, rhododendron and sunakhari flowers in the months of Falgun, Chaitra and Baisakh captivate the hearts of tourists. The ever-changing weather and the view of the mountain range right before the eyes can make one feel a heavenly bliss on earth when one steps on Mayung Dada. From Mayung Dada, most of the hilly districts of eastern Nepal, as well as the high hill plains and villages of Nepal and India, look as if they are in the palm of one's hand, making one want to keep watching. When the crimson rays of early morning sun touch the mountains on the other side, the joy of kissing the heights is immeasurable. From Mayung Dada, one can also view more than 24 beautiful Himalayan peaks. This includes Charpate, Mera Peak, Nuptse, Everest, Lhotse, Lhotse Sar, Makalu, Kanchenjunga, and Kumbhakarna. Travelers say is less tiring and also does not give one altitude sickness. The trail located in the Mayung region is considered excellent, given the Laliguras Trail of the TMJ region or the Tinjure, Milke, Jaljale area and the Khapta Trail of the west. On the Mundum Trek, after passing through Chakhewa Bhanjang, Mayung Dada, House Pokuri, Satobato, Laure Bhir, Rawathap, and Salpa Bhanjang, on the fourth day of the journey, one reaches the famous pilgrimage site Salpa Pokuri. Salpa Pokuri is situated at an altitude of 3,400 meters above sea level and is considered by the Kirati people as their ancestral place of origin. Kirati people hold a belief that one must visit Salpa Pokuri at least once in their lifetime. Hence, during Udholi and Ubholi full moons, many pilgrims visit Salpa Pokuri, a place filled with religious faith and natural beauty. Salpa Pokuri, known as the confluence of 4 districts, Khotang, Solukhumbu, Bhojpur and Sankhua Sabha, is a place of natural beauty. Salpapokuri is located in Dobhani village of Salpa Silichung rural municipality in Bhojpur. It can be reached via the Mundum Trail, passing through Dikdale, Inkotang, Lal Kharkal and Moyung Dada. However, there are other routes to reach Salpapokuri as well. It is said that Tenzing Norgay Sherpa and Edmund Hillary used the route through Salpapokuri during their first ascent of Mount Everest. Salpapokuri is also a multi-religious center of faith. As apart from Kiratis, various ethnic groups, including Hindus and Buddhists, hold fairs at this place 4 times a year. There is a religious belief that people who are born unable to speak can start speaking after being dipped in the waters of this pond, and childless couples are blessed with children after visiting Salpapokuri. Silichung Dada with Salpapokuri as its base camp is an important destination for tourists trekking the Mundum Trail. Tourists who reach Salpa often make a return trip to the summit of Silichung Dada, which stands at an altitude of 4,100 meters. Specially considered a significant center of religious faith for the Kirati people, from the Silichung Peak one can easily view the Himalayan range as well as the flat plains of the Tarai. From Silichung, 6 Himalayan peaks including Everest, Makalu, Kanchenjunga, Kumbhakarna and Mera Peak can be seen right before one's eyes. The Salpa Silichung Peak, the highest point in the religiously and touristically significant district of Bhojpur, is established as the tallest among Temke Dada and Moyung Dada. There is a popular belief that wishes are fulfilled after visiting and offering prayers at the peak of Silichung. Silichung Peak is located on the border of Bhojpur and Sankhwa districts. It is useful not only for anchoring one's religious faith, but also for savoring the unique blend of nature and culture. From the peak of Silichung, one can directly see Salpapokuri to the south and the villages of Solukhumbu, Sankhwa and Bhojpur. The valley and plains formed by the Arun River, which flows through Bhojpur and Sankhwa can be easily viewed from this area. From Silichung, one can also enjoy panoramic views of the sunrise and sunset. At sunrise, a captivating view of mist in the Arun Valley can be seen from this spot. When the weather is clear, climbing Silichung Peak brings a feeling of heavenly bliss. The Silichung area is as naturally beautiful as it is culturally significant. In recent times, Kirat, Hindu and Buddhist followers have come to regard Silichung Peak as a common pilgrimage site. A large number of shamans gather here during the full moons of Bhadra, Kartik and Baisakh. Shamans in particular ascend Silichung to gain power and knowledge. The fragrance of the extremely aromatic bhairung, sunpati and other fragrant herbs and flowers found around Silichung makes the stay there even more pleasant. There is a Mundum myth that Kirati people gain power from this area, envisioning it as the place where the world was created, starting from the hearth, the main pillar, the main door, the eaves, the flower garden, the resting place, and the final water source, while praying to their ancestors for divine power. Upon reaching this point, the Mundum trek can be considered complete for the time being. The Mundum Trail is an excellent destination for tourists who want to get close to the Himalayas and enjoy their beauty. The hundreds of types of flowers and birds seen during the Mundum trek make the journey even more interesting. The path is completely covered with the national flower rhododendron in various colors. Being a confluence of nature, culture, and Kirati civilization, tourists get to taste a sweet flavor during the Mundum trek. People of all age groups can undertake this trek. On both sides of the trail, the language, religion, rituals, and culture, as well as the lifestyle of 10 different Kirati-speaking Rai groups are vibrant. This region contains descriptions of the Kirati people from their creation to their civilization, their migration, various activities and rituals and traditions from birth to death. During this journey, one can truly feel a spiritual connection with their ancestors and with those who have passed. Locals have added new dimensions of tourism to the Mundum Trail. Along with homestays, one can also experience goat stays, which is staying in a herder's shed during the Mundum trek. Local herders warmly welcome the trekkers. This trail of indigenous civilization has recently emerged in the tourism world as a top cultural destination. Therefore, developing the Mundum Trail, an exceptional confluence of nature and culture, into a model destination for recreation and study for both domestic and international visitors has become a pressing priority.
FIFA World Cup 2026 opening tonight, co-host Mexico taking on South Africa in the inaugural match. House of Representatives concludes general discussion on upcoming budget, Finance Minister defends tax allocation and revenue plans. Nepal's major cities see influx of Indian tourists. Demand, however, grows for improved amenities amid rising arrivals. Trump says U.S. will hit Iran very hard tonight after U.S. attacks third tanker near Oman. 3 Indian sailors killed in a U.S. strike. U.S. scientists confirm start of El Nino weather phenomenon. Fears grow over extreme weather events and rising global temperatures. And Wimbledon announces a record 20% rise in prize money amid player discontent. Singles champions to pocket £3.6 million. Hello there, I'm Smituki Singh Tamang. Welcome to NTV World News Hour. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in detail. The wait is finally over. The FIFA World Cup 2026 kicks off tonight with a dazzling opening ceremony at Mexico City's legendary Estadio Azteca. The spectacle begins at 6 p.m. local time, which is 4:15 a.m. Friday morning in Nepal, blending music, culture and football tradition to mark the start of the biggest tournament in the history. For the first time ever, 48 nations will compete across 3 host countries, the United States, Canada and Mexico, spanning 104 matches in a month-long festival of football. This iconic stadium, already steeped in World Cup history, becomes the first to host 3 different editions of the tournament. The opening match follows immediately after the ceremony, with host Mexico taking on South Africa in front of a packed Azteca crowd. Mexico, buoyed by home support, will look to set the tone with attacking flair, while South Africa aims to spoil the party with disciplined defence and counter-attacks. Beyond football, the match symbolizes the start of a record 48-team tournament, promising drama, debutants and global spectacle. We'll cover more on FIFA World Cup 2026 in our segment Issue of the Day later in the bulletin. Nepal's House of Representatives has concluded the general discussion on the annual estimates of revenue and expenditure for the fiscal year 2026-27. The discussion, which resumed on Wednesday after a long obstruction, ended after Finance Minister Dr. Swarnim Wagle responded to concerns and questions raised by lawmakers during the debate. In course of the discussion, lawmakers expressed the view that the budget has created class divisions based on tax categories instead of ensuring citizens' rights to education and health. Meanwhile, the process of endorsing the budget will begin after clause-wise deliberations on the appropriation bill tabled in the House are completed, according to the Federal Parliament Secretariat. Also today, Finance Minister Dr. Swarnim Wagle presented 3 separate bills: the Appropriation Bill 2083, the National Debt Raising Bill 2083, and a proposal seeking consideration of the Nepal Rashtra Bank Third Amendment Bill 2083. Nepal is witnessing a sharp increase in Indian tourist arrivals, with around 41,000 visitors entering by air in May, while land arrivals remain largely unrecorded. Popular destinations including Pokhara, Kathmandu, Mustang and the Prithvi Highway are seeing heavy tourist traffic driven by religious travel, summer holidays and leisure trips. Tourism stakeholders say the influx has provided a major boost to the industry. However, concerns over waste management and use of public spaces have been reported. Tourism stakeholders have called for improved facilities and responsible tourism to ensure a safe and sustainable travel experience. We will look deeper into this in our segment Cover Story later in the bulletin. Now, US President Donald Trump says the US will hit Iran very hard tonight. In a post on Truth Social, he also vows to assume total control of Iran's oil and gas markets in the not-too-distant future. Trump earlier said US will be taking Karg Island, a major oil terminal off the coast of Iran, but has since raised doubts over whether the US has the stomach to seize it. It comes after 3 Indian sailors were killed in a US strike on a ship, the Setebello, near Oman on Wednesday. The US also confirmed it attacked 2 other ships, Jalveer and Marivex, in the Gulf of Oman. The weather phenomenon El Niño have arrived, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said Thursday, and scientists expect it to intensify into the end of the year, potentially to historic strength. El Niño is a natural climate phenomenon that warms surface temperatures in the central and eastern equatorial Pacific Ocean, bringing worldwide changes in winds, rainfall patterns and erratic weather. Scientists also fear it will exacerbate the heat of a planet already warming from burning fossil fuels while amping up weather extremes. The advisory stated that there was a 63% chance of a very strong El Niño during November to January, which would rank among the largest El Niño events in the historical record dating back to 1950. Wimbledon organisers have announced a record prize pot of £64.2 million for this year's championships, although it may not be enough to placate leading players or demanding a bigger share of Grand Slam revenue. The prize fund is 20% more than last year, with singles champions set to pocket £3.6 million, up from £3 million. It is the biggest annual increase in the tournament's history, but comes at a time of escalating demands by players who argue that the 4 Grand Slams distribute a smaller share of total revenues than other ATP and WTA events. Players had called for a total Wimbledon prize pot of around £70 million, which would bring the ratio closer to the 22% that top ATP and WTA events redistribute to the players. As FIFA World Cup 2026 kicks off, football fever has swept across Nepal, with fans rushing to buy their favorite team jerseys and preparing for a month of late-night action. We explore how the tournament is energizing supporters, reshaping viewing habits and driving a shift towards digital broadcasting platforms. Plus, FIFA President Gianni Infantino weighs in on ticket prices, fan access and the global appeal of football's biggest spectacle. More on this in our issue of the day after this break. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World and this is the News Hour. And now we're shifting to our issue of the day. Football fans in Nepal's capital Kathmandu are flocking to jersey stores, buying the colours of their favourite teams as the FIFA World Cup 2026 fever grips the country that is still far away from featuring in the tournament. Stores are packed with enthusiasts hunting for jerseys of their favourite teams. Sarah Sapsanamarai reports.
Football merchandise sellers in Nepali capital Kathmandu are having a hard time meeting demand. A New Road store is catering to at least 300 football enthusiasts a day on the eve of the tournament.
एक हप्तादेखि चहलपहल बढ्नै छ अहिलेलाई तपाईको अब डेली प्राय गरेर 300 500 मोर देन 300 मान्छेहरु चाहिँ आइराखेका छन् कतिपय त फर्किराखेका छन् र सामानहरु अलिकति कसैलाई साइज मिल्दैन कसैलाई चाहिँ अब भनेको पाउँदैन.
Many are returning empty-handed or waiting for hours for stock to refuel before buying.
मान्छेमा त धमाधम सामान छैन के भन्नु कुरा चाहिँ एक घण्टा अनि सामान चाहिँ कलेक्सन गर्न सकिएन पहिला हामीलाई थाहा भएन यस्तो हुन्छ भनेर हामीले जस सकभर हामीले ग्राहकको सन्तुष्टि होस् भनेर हामीले सबै तपाईको सस्तोदेखि महँगो सबै कलेक्सन राखेछ हामी त रिटेल पसलमा नि.
In an average, each store like this is selling football goods worth around 300,000 rupees per day since World Cup fever began for about a week now.
So I am buying for my son who is 13-year-old and I have bought France, US and Portugal. He's very excited. We're flying to US to watch few of the matches there.
Support मैले चाहिँ पोर्चुगल गरेको छु. अब रोनाल्डो मेरो फेभरेट प्लेयर भयो पहिलेदेखि अनि त्यही हो. उसको अन्तिम वर्ल्ड कप भएर तेरो सपोर्ट गर्छु.
Emotion drives the sales, whether it's Ronaldo's final World Cup for Portugal or Messi's chances with Argentina. Fans are buying jerseys tied to player legacy. Nepal is one of the furthest countries from the tournament in terms of participation, but the World Cup fanaticism has reached fever pitch like anywhere else. With Samir Thapa on camera, Sarah Sapsanama for NTV World, Kathmandu.
As the much-awaited football extravaganza gets underway tonight, we asked football fans which team they are supporting and why. Let's hear their say in today's Public Pulse.
So I'm supporting England this time because since my early days, I started watching football and I supported Liverpool. And Liverpool's captain was Steven Gerrard and he played in England. So that was I started supporting England and it's been ever since I've been supporting England. This time as well, I think England is going to be a top contender.
This time I'm supporting Portugal because I'm a huge fan of Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm following him since my childhood. Not only his game, I'm also a huge fan of his personality. मैले उहाँको क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डोको पर्सनालिटीबाट मैले आफूमा धेरै कुरा इम्प्रुभमेन्ट गर्नु पाएको छु सो हि इज माई इन्सपिरेसन त्यसैले पनि दिस टाइम आइ एम सपोर्टिङ पोर्चुगल
यो वर्ल्ड कपमा चाहिँ म नर्वेलाई सपोर्ट गरिरहेको छु अनि त्यो पनि मैले धेरै मान्छेबाट सुनेर चाहिँ है लाइक दे आर द न्यू प्याक मतलब न्यू टिम होइन यसपालि 48 कन्ट्रिजहरू छ त्यसमा चाहिँ सरप्राइज प्याकेज हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ नर्वे द्याट इज वाइ आई एम सपोर्टिङ नर्वे
Frankly speaking, I love all teams who play good, but I'm rooting for teams who have not won the World Cup. So they should also get chance. Right now everyone has won, so I want some Japan to win because I like Japan a lot.
I think I will be supporting Argentina this time and because I love Messi and since I was 10 years old I have been supporting Messi because of my brothers so yeah.
I'm supporting Portugal and because I'm very big fan of Real Madrid and our club legend Cristiano Ronaldo had been my role model and I'm huge fan of his and his country is like something I want to support for this World Cup. Vitinha, João Neves and all other players are equally good. I hope they win this World Cup.
I'm supporting Argentina because Messi is there, right? Prominently Messi is there. So, and our thing is, the keeper Dibu Martinez is the world-class thing and he is saving everything that's coming his way.
As the FIFA World Cup 2026 kicks off, Nepal's broadcast landscape is undergoing a notable shift from legacy media to digital, with the local company spending record amount for the rights and the broadcaster rolling out multi-platform coverage format. The odd timing viewership in Nepal is likely to be affected. To counter the same, the right holder and broadcasters are trying to engage fans through affordable digital packages. Sabika Shrestha explores the shifting dynamics.
Football, arguably the most popular sport in the world, draws interest and viewership unlike anything in the world. Figures from the Lens alone drew 1.5 billion viewers worldwide. The record of the most watched event in history is very likely to be broken this time. However, Nepali right holder company and broadcaster are set to encounter the odd viewing hours with matches scheduled for midnight and even later. With over 450 million spent on acquiring the rights, the local right holder company expects to generate profit by adopting both legacy and digital media plans. The company claims a viewer will have to spend only around 9 rupees for a match by enrolling in their separate plans for linear television or digital platforms.
ग्रान्ड तरिकाले प्रसारण गरौँ भनेर प्रसारण संस्थाले पनि तपाईको प्री म्याच पोस्ट म्याचहरुलाई त्यही हिसाबले डेभलप गरेका कारणले कस्ट अलि हाई हुन गयो र हामीले 500 ले अलि भ्याउँदैन भनेर 999 गर्यौं यसो हेर्दा दर्शक महानुभावहरुलाई अलि बढी नै हो कि जस्तो यति भन्दा कममा गर्नु भएको जस्तो गरे भए त हामीलाई सजिलो हुन्थ्यो भन्ने लाग्छ मोबाइलमा हामीले 549 रुपैयाँ राखेका छौं मोबाइल र ल्यापटपमा जाने हो भने हामीले 999 नै गर्यौं त्यो मध्येको मोबाइल एप मात्रै चलाउने मोबाइल डिभाइस मात्रै चलाउने हो भने पनि हामीलाई 549 रुपैयाँमै हामी पाउँछौं अब 999 104 गेम छ 39 दिनको गेम छ 48 देशको सहभागिता छ पर म्याच हिसाब गर्दा भ्युअरशिपको हिसाबले पनि 9 रुपैयाँ वरिपरि पर्ने भएर त्यति धेरै महँगो हुँदैन भन्ने हाम्रो विश्लेषण रह्यो.
One of the key challenges, however, remains the match timing. Due to time zone differences, most games will be aired late at night or past midnight in Nepal. While this may impact general viewership patterns, broadcasters remain optimistic given the evolving trend of digital sports broadcasting as well as viewership.
In Nepal, for the first time, we are planning on international scale shoulder programming. So we've created this show called Red Bull Football 26, and you will see international analysts like Paichung Bhutia and Nepali former footballers like Biraj Mahajan and Bikesh Kuthu as a part of the team as well. The problem has always been that whenever you switch from an international broadcaster to a Nepali broadcaster, the quality of the pre-match and post-match programming, you will feel a difference. But this time, being aware about that fact, we're trying to set a new trend in the industry with about 60-65 people working back end just to produce this show.
The tournament will not only be broadcast via traditional television, but also through hybrid TV systems and OTT platforms, reflecting a broader shift toward digital and multi-platform engagement. The advertising agencies have also shown strong interest, with both the companies confirming robust collaboration with major brands. According to Dhital, approximately 270 million rupees will be contributed in taxes to the government, underlining the economic impact of the tournament beyond viewership and entertainment. Overall, the FIFA World Cup 2026 marks a significant moment for Nepal's broadcasting landscape. With enhanced digital integration, broader accessibility, and strong commercial engagement, the tournament is set to redefine how global sporting events are experienced by Nepali audiences. With camera person Samir Thapa, Sabika Shrestha, NTV World.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino said he is thrilled that the event that makes people dream is just a few hours away. He also defended ticket pricing for the tournament, saying that even if tickets were distributed free of charge, they would likely end up being resold on the black market at significantly high prices. Infantino also said he was pleased that Iran's national team would be able to participate in the tournament despite ongoing tensions between Iran and the United States.
Of course there are challenges. Of course, it's not easy in these circumstances, which we cannot influence. I'm very happy that we managed to get Iran to come and play in this World Cup.
And that wraps up our issue of the day. On to the next segment now. Indian tourists are emerging as a major driver of Nepal's tourism sector, with more than 41,000 arriving by air in May alone, and even larger numbers believed to be entering through land border crossings. From Kathmandu and Pokhara to Mustang and the Prithvi Highway, the growing presence of Indian visitors is providing a timely boost to local businesses, especially as arrivals from some other markets slow. In today's cover story, we examine how rising Indian tourism is reshaping Nepal's travel industry and supporting key destinations across the country. And now we move on to the cover story. As the number of Indian tourists visiting Nepal has increased significantly in recent times, air travel data shows that around 41,000 Indian tourists entered Nepal in the month of May alone. However, there's no exact data on tourists arriving via land routes. Still, the large presence of Indian tourists and vehicles seen in Kathmandu, Pokhara, Mustang and along the Prithvi Highway indicates that arrivals through land routes are even higher than by air. Dikshavasti with our local correspondent Shiva Silwal brings more.
The majority of Indian tourists visiting Nepal are religious pilgrims. Along with the growing number of Indian tourists, issues related to civic awareness and traffic rule compliance are recently buzzing on social media. Incidents such as stopping vehicles in inappropriate places, cooking food, and poor waste management have been widely highlighted online. However, Indian tourists say that despite some isolated cases, they are generally aware of civic discipline.
खाने की पूरी व्यवस्था हम लोग लेकर आए हुए हैं यहाँ, क्योंकि नेपाल में उस तरह के खान पान के लिए टूरिस्ट के लिए उस तरह की सर्विस नहीं है। हम लोग हिंदू हैं, हम लोग जो है नॉन वेज नहीं यूज करते हैं, जिसके कारण हम लोगों के यहाँ बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम होते हैं। यहाँ पे कोई भी ऐसे रेस्टोरेंट या ढाबे या कोई भी ऐसा होटल नहीं है जहाँ पे जो है नॉन वेज भोजन जो है मिलते हों। इसी समस्या को ध्यान में रखते हुए हम लोगों ने अपने साथ जो है अपने खाना बनाने वाली टीम के साथ हम लोग आए हुए हैं और स्वच्छ सुंदर खाना बनाते हैं और अपने हाथ में खाते हैं।
अच्छा नज़ारा है, यहाँ का व्यू बहुत अच्छा है और मौसम बहुत अच्छा है यहाँ का, और बहुत यहाँ के लोग भी बहुत अच्छे हैं। यहाँ के लोग भी धार्मिक है, बहुत ज़्यादा पूजा पाठ भी करते हैं, सब लोग भी बहुत अच्छे हैं।
हम शाम से स्वर्ग दर्शन किया है,
एकदम यहाँ का आदमी धार्मिक प्रवृत्ति का हमको लगा देखने में, जो यहाँ के लोग धार्मिक प्रति आस्था लोग रखते हैं यहाँ के लोग, और शांत स्वभाव के हैं।
Indian tourists are often seen stopping their buses in areas with water sources and toilet facilities to cook food. During this, concerns have been raised by locals over littering in public places, religious sites and tourist destinations. In recent years, complaints have increased along with the rise in land route religious tourism from India. However, religious tourists often prefer cooking their own food for purity and cost reasons and use public spaces for bathing and washing. Therefore, there is a need to focus on developing proper infrastructure for waste management and basic facilities in public, religious and tourist areas. Nepal, which follows the principle of Atiti Deva Bhava, guest is God, welcomes and respects all visitors. In this context, visitors are encouraged to travel responsibly to Nepal's religious and tourist destinations and make their trip memorable. Similarly, social media users are also urged not to highlight only the negative aspects of Indian religious and other tourists, but to play a supportive role in promoting civic awareness. This would further encourage visits to Nepal's famous religious and tourist destinations.
Amid declining tourist arrivals due to tensions in the Middle East, Pokhara has received strong support from Indian tourists. Most hotels in Pokhara are currently filled with Indian guests. Business operators say the significant rise is driven by long summer holidays in India and easier accessibility. Viksha Awasthi with our local correspondent Pushpa Dahal. Look more in our next story.
Nepal is not only known for its majestic natural beauty, it is also a favorite destination for religious tourism. While places like Lumbini, the birthplace of Lord Buddha, host pilgrims from all over the world, other religious sites of this Hindu-majority country are in the preferences of Indian tourists. This year, in the summer, key sites like Pokhara and Mustang have been the choice of Indian tourists, especially due to long summer holidays in India. Hotels in Pokhara and surrounding areas are largely dominated by Indian tourists. According to Hotel Majestic operator Sunil Bhattarai, around 60% of hotel occupancy in Pokhara is currently contributed by Indian tourists. And in the past month, nearly 90% of guests in his hotel have been Indian nationals.
विगतको वर्षहरुमा जुन जुलाई एकदमै अफसिजन हुन्थ्यो भारत पर्यटकहरु त आउनुहुन्थ्यो तर एउटा लिमिटेड पर्यटक बाहेक अरु खासै हामीले पर्यटक त्यति आउँथेन धेरै जसो होटलहरु रेस्टुरेन्टहरु चाहिँ अझ आदि एकदम लो अकुपेन्सीमा चलिरहेको हुन्थ्यो र धेरैले चाहिँ आफ्नो स्टाफहरुलाई पनि त्यता घर बिदाहरु पठाइरहेको अवस्था हुन्थ्यो तर विगतको 1-2 वर्ष र यो वर्ष एकदमै हामीलाई चाहिँ यो सिजन जस्तै अक्टोबर नोभेम्बरमा हुने जसरी नै अहिले चाहिँ जुन जुलाईमा पनि त्यो अनुसारको पर्यटकहरु आउनुभएको छ.
While there have been some complaints about Indian tourists cooking food along the roadside, stakeholders say such incidents are very limited. They argue that proper arrangements should be made for those who prefer to cook for themselves, says Village Tourism Promotion Forum Nepal Gandaki President Soba Pandey.
बाटोमा खाना बनाउने बाटोमा खाने त्यो गर्नुहुन्छ भन्ने छ. अब हो पक्कै पनि अब हाम्रो नेपालको तीर्थयात्रीहरू पनि भारततिर जानुहुन्छ त्यो बेला चाहिँ उहाँहरूले पनि हाम्रो यो धर्मशालाहरू खोजेर खाना खाने गर्नुहुन्छ. कोही व्यक्तिहरू यस्तो हुनुहुन्छ कि उहाँ व्यक्तिहरू लसुन प्याज माछा मासु पनि नखाने व्यक्तित्वहरू हुनुहुन्छ नि त. उहाँहरूको लागि त हाम्रो पोखरामा अथवा भनौँ नेपालमै पनि त राम्रो खालको धर्मशालाको व्यवस्था छैन. यसले गर्दा उहाँहरू चाहिँ त्यो बाटोमा पकाएर खान बाध्य हुनुभएको हो कि.
Similarly, Hotel Association Pokhara President Laxman Subedi says that tourists cooking their own food due to personal taste preferences should not be unnecessarily highlighted or misrepresented.
उहाँहरुलाई व्यवस्थित गर्न र बाटोमा चाहिँ अलि व्यवस्थित तरिकाले खाना बनाउनका लागि हामीले उहाँहरुलाई आग्रह गर्नुपर्छ. त्यो केही प्रतिशत मात्रै हो. हामीले दिनमा 4 वटा ठूला गाडीले बाटोमा खाना पकाएर खाए भन्दैमा यसलाई चाहिँ गलत प्रचार गर्न आवश्यक छैन.
Even during the off-season, the high presence of Indian visitors has brought significant relief to the tourism industry.
That was the cover story of the day. Now we move on to other updates. Nepal's Finance Minister Swarnim Wagle has defended recent changes to Nepal's tax systems, claiming that the government is steadily making the tax regime simpler, more transparent and business-friendly. Speaking at a meeting of the Public Accounts Committee under the House of Representatives today, Minister Wagle said reforms introduced in income tax, excise duty and customs administration represent some of the most significant structural improvements undertaken in recent years.
कुन प्रकृतिको सवारीमा कति कर लगाउने भन्ने कुरा जेठ 15 को बिहान फाइनल भएको छ। अर्थमन्त्रीले खुसु टेलिफोन गरेर कर बढ्दैछ है गाडी पास गर भने हो। भने भए त घाटा लाग्ने रहेछ त कर त घट्या छ। बहुसंख्यक गाडीहरू रसुवाको त 7% नै यता पनि सस्तो गाडीहरू एटो 1 भन्छ गाडी एउटा ब्रान्ड उसमा त कर घट्या छ। उले जेठ 15 पछि पास गरेर आएको भए उलाई धेरै नाफा हुन्थ्यो।
Nepal's Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal has said Nepal remains committed to resolving border-related disputes with India through diplomatic channels and mutual consultations. Khanal said Nepal and India share an open border with centuries-old historical ties and are committed to addressing outstanding disputes through dialogue. He said that border delineation remains pending in areas including Susta, Limpiadura, Lipulek and Kalapani, while problems related to cross-border occupation and encroachment of the no man's land continue to exist in some locations.
पहिलो जोइन्ट वर्किङ ग्रुप JWG अन बोर्डर म्यानेजमेन्ट को बैठक आगामी अगस्त 2026 मा आयोजना हुँदैछ। त्यस्तै हाल जोइन्ट फिल्ड सर्वे टिम JFST ले विगत 2 महिनादेखि विभिन्न स्थानमा काम गरिरहेको छ। यस संयन्त्रलाई दिएको जिम्मेवारी बमोजिम सीमा स्तम्भहरूको मर्मत, हराएका स्तम्भहरूको पुनर्स्थापना र पुनर्निर्माण गर्ने कार्य अगाडि बढेको छ। त्यसैगरी हाल 4 वटा छुट्टा-छुट्टै टोली गठन भई नेपाल भारत सीमाका विभिन्न क्षेत्रमा काम भइरहेको छ। यी संयुक्त टोलीहरूले नो म्यान्स ल्यान्डको अतिक्रमण र क्रस बोर्डर अकुपेसन को लगत तयार पार्ने काम गरिरहेका छन्। त्यस्तै गरी सर्वे अफिसियल कमिटीको आगामी बैठक अगस्त 2026 मा आयोजना हुँदैछ। यसमा नापी विभागका उप महानिर्देशकको नेतृत्वमा उक्त विभागको प्राविधिक टोली लगायत परराष्ट्र, गृह र सशस्त्र प्रहरी बलका प्रतिनिधिहरूको सहभागिता रहनेछ। भारतीय पक्षतर्फ पनि सोही बमोजिमको प्रतिनिधित्व हुने गरेको छ।
Nepal's Home Minister Sudan Gurung has said that all concerned agencies have been instructed to remain on high alert and prepared for disaster management as the monsoon season approaches. Speaking at a meeting of the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee under the House of Representatives today, Minister Gurung said necessary directives had already been issued to ensure effective management of people affected by natural disasters. On drug control efforts, the Home Minister said traditional approaches alone are no longer sufficient to tackle the growing narcotics problem.
यो विषय पनि डिजास्टर आइसकेपछिको जुन चाहिँ फेज छ त्यस्तै सिनारियो देखिएको छ। टेन्टमा बस्ने, स्यानिटेसनको कुराहरू आउँछ हैन, उहाँहरुलाई रिहेबिलिटेसनको कुराहरू आउला, त्यसपछि रिलोकेसन कुराहरू आउला। सबै लगभग डिजास्टरकै सिनारियो जस्तो देखिरहेछौँ हामीले अहिले पनि। अनि गृह मन्त्रालयबाट हामीले यसलाई चाहिँ क्लियरली अहिले हाम्रो 48 घण्टा भएको छैन, तर एउटा निर्देशन चाहिँ हिजो पनि एउटा हामीले प्रिपेयर गरिरहेका छौँ र आज दिने हाम्रो विचारमै थियो र म आफै पनि यसको अनुगमनमा जाने मेरो विचार नै छ। स्टडी गर्दाखेरि धेरै जस्तो क्रस बोर्डर तपाईको पेट्रोलिङ, सर्भेलेन्स, अपरेशन्स यस्तो कुराहरू चाहिने देखिएको थियो, जहाँ कि तपाईको चाहिँ धेरै जस्तो तपाईको भारतबाट ड्रग्सहरू इम्पोर्ट हुने, नेपालबाट चाहिँ गाँजाहरू जाने, विशेष गरी तपाईको त्यो हाम्रो पूर्वी क्षेत्रतिर देखियो स्टडी अनुसारमा, डाटा अनुसारमा पनि हैन। सो यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले के गर्नुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ तपाईको चाहिँ एउटा जोइन्ट अपरेसन जहाँ कि यसको सोर्स कहाँ हो, इन्डियाको कुन त्यो बोर्डरको एरियामा कुन ठाउँमा छ भनेर पत्ता लगाएर उतापट्टि बोर्डर पारी पनि उहाँहरूको हाम्रो एसएसपी को हाम्रो स्पेशल कन्ट्रोल्सहरू हुन्छ, स्पेशल युनिटहरू हुन्छ, त्यहाँबाट हामीले उताको कारबाही उतै गरेर यताको कारबाही यतै गरेर दुई ठाउँबाट गर्यौं भने हामीले धेरै कन्ट्रोल हुन्छ जस्तो चाहिँ हामीलाई लाग्छ।
Nepal's newly established Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation has formally begun operations from the building previously occupied by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Minister Mahabir Pun, who has been entrusted with leading the new ministry, has started work from the office and is also using part of the ministry premises as his residence. The ministry is currently operating with 18 staff members, while an organisation and management survey report is expected to be completed by mid-June. The nameplates for the minister and secretary were installed at the ministry today. The ministry said Minister Pun had already formed committees to draft the Science, Technology and Innovation Act and prepare the O&M survey report. The ministry was established following a long-running campaign led by Pun, who has been actively involved in technology-based innovation initiatives for years. The Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation is currently operating from the Singhadarbar building that previously housed the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Nepal government has started preparation to reduce the dengue infection rate by 60% in the next 5 years. The Ministry of Health and Food Safety has prepared a multi-sectoral plan for dengue prevention and control, which states that in the next 5 years, all federal, provincial and local government bodies will be involved in dengue control and prevention to achieve the target. The government's goal is to reduce the mortality from dengue to less than 0.01%. Apart from this, the government aims to make communication on this matter effective to reduce the risk of disease. The government also plans to run a Clean Friday program, doing extra cleaning every week to destroy mosquito breeding under the scheme. This year too, so far, dengue has been found in 915 people across 68 districts, with 1 person having died. Nepal government is stepping up plans to provide accident, health and life insurance coverage to landless and informal settlers living in the Kathmandu Valley as part of a broader social protection initiative. Officials say around 1,488 people currently staying in 6 government-designated holding centres in the valley will be included in the first phase of the programme, with more than 95% already digitally registered. The scheme, coordinated by multiple government agencies and state-owned insurance institutions, will also include accident coverage and educational support plans for children and beneficiary families. Authorities have confirmed that the government will fully cover insurance premiums, with funding already secured, and intend to continue the program for at least a decade. The initiative will initially focus on Kathmandu Valley residents before being expanded to other parts of Nepal, reflecting efforts to extend social security benefits to some of the country's most vulnerable communities. Ticket sales have opened for the first regular international commercial flights from Pokhara International Airport, with Dubai-based airline Fly Dubai is set to begin daily services to Dubai from September 23. The launch marks a major milestone for Nepal's second international airport, which opened in January 1, 2023, but has so far handled only charter and limited international flights. Officials say the new route will provide direct international connectivity for residents of Gandaki province and neighbouring districts, reducing the need to travel through Kathmandu for overseas journeys. The daily service is expected to benefit migrant workers, students and tourists, while also supporting Pokhara's ambitions to strengthen its position as a major tourism and aviation hub. Authorities believe improved international air access will help boost tourism, trade and investment in the scenic city, which is known for its natural beauty, adventure tourism and cultural heritage. Time to check more from international updates, but before that, let's have a recap of headlines. FIFA World Cup 2026 opening tonight, co-host Mexico taking on South Africa in the inaugural match. House of Representatives concludes a general discussion on upcoming budget, Finance Minister defends tax allocation and revenue plans. Nepal's major cities see influx of Indian tourists. Demand, however, grows for improved amenities amid rising arrivals. Trump says US will hit Iran very hard tonight after US attacks third tanker near Oman. 3 Indian sailors killed in a US strike. US scientists confirm start of El Niño weather phenomenon. Fears grow over extreme weather events and rising global temperatures. And Wimbledon announces a record 20% rise in prize money amid player discontent. Singles champions to pocket £3.6 million. New data show global forced displacement fell for the first time in a decade. The UNHCR said the number of forcibly displaced people dropped for the first time in a decade last year as more opted to return home despite often unsafe and unstable conditions.
41.6 million people were refugees at the end of 2025. That figure includes 35.6 million refugees under UNHCR mandate and 6 million Palestinian refugees under UNRWA's mandate. It is 1.2 million fewer than the previous year, and that modest decline is welcome news.
Canada has introduced a ban on social media use for individuals under the age of 16 as part of new measures aimed at strengthening online child safety and reducing potential harms linked to excessive platform use among minors. The policy is intended to restrict access to major social networking services for younger users, with enforcement expected through age verification mechanisms. Authorities say the move is designed to protect children from risks such as online exploitation, harmful content and privacy violations. 3 hatchlings of Heloderma Charles Bogerty, an extremely rare reptile endemic to Guatemala and listed among the world's most threatened species, are currently under specialized care at the La Aurora National Zoological Park, officials have said. The zoo confirmed that the offspring are being closely monitored in controlled conditions as part of ongoing conservation efforts aimed at protecting the critically endangered species which exists only in Guatemala. Business news lined up next. For now, a breather.
Inflation in the United States rose at its fastest pace in 3 years in May, driven largely by soaring energy prices linked to the conflict in the Middle East. According to the Labor Department, consumer prices increased 4.2% compared with the year earlier, marking the biggest annual rise since April 2023. It was the third consecutive month of strong inflation, adding pressure on American households as many continue to dip into their savings to cover everyday expenses. Rising prices also outpaced wage growth for a second straight month, raising concerns about the impact on the broader economy. The latest figures are expected to strengthen the case for the Federal Reserve to keep interest rates unchanged. The increase in the cost of living also poses a political challenges for President Donald Trump and his Republican Party ahead of November's midterm elections. South Korea has fined outline retail giant Coupang more than $400 million over a massive data breach. The regulators says around 37.5 million users were affected, more than half of the country's population. Exposed data included names, contacts, delivery details, and other histories. Authorities blamed weak security controls and poor management of authentication systems. The Personal Information Protection Commission said it is the largest fine ever issued for a data breach. Coupang, meanwhile, says it regrets the incident, will improve security, and plans to challenge the ruling.
And now the sports update. Nepal's Ministry of Education and Sports has appointed former national football team goalkeeper Vishal Shrestha as Vice Chairman of the National Sports Council NSC, the country's apex sports governing body. Shrestha, who represented Nepal for years at the international level before retiring from football, now moves into a key leadership role in sports administration. The ministry has also named 4 new board members to broaden representation across different sporting disciplines. The appointees include table tennis player Sikka Suwal Shrestha, former international cricketer and coach Shakti Gauchan, chess player Mona Lisa Khumbu and football player Pawan Shahi. Officials say the appointments are aimed at bringing experienced athletes into decision-making roles to help drive sports development, governance reforms and policy implementation in Nepal. Sumo Grand Champion Ho Shoryu has said he hopes to attract new fans as Paris prepares to host a sumo tournament for the first time in over 3 decades. Ho Shoryu highlighted the intensity and physicality of the sport, saying he wants audiences to focus on the moment their bodies collide and the power that is unleashed. He expressed confidence that sumo will gain wide international appeal through the event, adding that he believes global audiences will come to appreciate and embrace the sport. And now the weather updates, first from Nepal and then across the world. And before we wrap up, here's a reminder of our top stories. FIFA World Cup 2026 opening tonight. Co-host Mexico taking on South Africa in the inaugural match. House of Representatives concludes general discussion on upcoming budget, Finance Minister defends tax allocation and revenue plans. Nepal's major cities see influx of Indian tourists. Demand, however, grows for improved amenities amid rising arrivals. Trump says US will hit Iran very hard tonight after US attacks third tanker near Oman. 3 Indian sailors killed in a US strike. US scientists confirm start of El Nino weather phenomenon. Fears grow over extreme weather events and rising global temperatures. And Wimbledon announces record 20% rise in prize money amid player discontent. Singles champions to pocket £3.6 million. And that's it for this edition of NTV World News Hour. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. This is me, Smriti Singh Tamang, signing off. Thank you for staying with us. Good night.